Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. Everyone sick, make them pay with some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and the talk about the Bills. Dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills. Dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host, Aramis.
It's for the keys over here. Oh, wait, I gotta do this first. There you go. Then that. Boom. Okay. Now we're in there.
Yeah. All right, so I wanna start this show off with a statement, not a prepared statement, but a statement nonetheless, that I feel fans need to hear before we even start saying anything about this game. Okay, that is there's a good book that I read that says my people perish for lack of knowledge. Right, I think what I've heard on the radio all day long is pure justification for every single person at One Bills Drive that thinks that they can do whatever they want because we're all idiots. When you call a radio show and you have tension in your voice because in your mind, James Cook is not getting enough goal line carries this season. What are we doing? If you are calling a radio station and you are calling with tension in your voice, that what's another example? I think they said something to the effect of the tight ends weren't used that much in this last game. Meanwhile, you got Dalton Kincaid with six targets, 6 catches, and 106 yards.
Yeah. So super chat, Alton.
Yep.
What it be like? What it be like? Yes. And I want to address what you said. Yeah, that was the most infuriating thing. I mean, everybody eats. Mm-hmm. Are we full or just full of it? Because
yeah.
So. Okay,
come on.
Let me go back. Let me start from.
I
gotta get my thoughts together because I don't want to sound too negative because I'm not gonna be negative, but I gotta be real. If the one thing that is working can't be stopped, why does it only have 6 targets?
Exactly.
If the one thing that we said on Friday was gonna happen yesterday that could not be stopped because they don't have the manpower or the talent, which is between the hashes. We threw the ball 2 times between the hashes yesterday.
Right.
2 times. We talked about it on Friday. The linebackers are victims. They can't cover. So let's just take that out of the playbook. Let's take it out of the playbook. How many times in this game, I don't know if you saw it or not, but that Josh decided to take off when guys are screaming across the middle? How many times do we see guys stop and Josh already on his way? What are we doing? Mm-hmm. Step up in the pocket. Stop. They're right in front of you. Maybe it's not a big home run hit. I don't know what you're looking at, but take what they give you. That's how you win the game.
That's it.
You take what they give you.
That's it.
But instead, no, we got to sell out for all these. We don't have deep threats.
I'll say this while we're here, right? Because I set some video aside for us to get to, just in case. Mm-hmm. And I think we're going to have plenty of time to get to that stuff today. Truth be told, right? Cato says need hard truth. You want to hear hard truth about this game? This a hard truth. This is a hard truth. This was quite possibly Josh Allen's worst game of the season.
One of the season, yeah.
So far,
mm-hmm.
This is worst game of the season. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because of what? Let's do this. Let's go. Which one did I say it was? I'm pretty sure it's number 2.
Take your pick.
Well, I said a play aside specifically. Give me 1 second here. Yeah. So, yeah, all right. So it's this one. All right. So I'm gonna bring this up, and
I had one as well. Is this the second down?
This is 3rd and 10.
Okay, no, this isn't one. But go ahead. Yeah,
I'll blow this up. This is an incomplete pass to Keon Coleman, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's what we're looking at. Let's get this cleared up a little bit. And I got to bring this on stage so everybody can see it. Okay, now on this particular play, we got, where is it? Let me go back here. Okay, so
you can halftime it too if you want. You can slow it down.
We don't really need to do that. I'm just trying to show something very specific. So we'll let the play we'll let the play show here. Now here's Kincaid. Here's this ain't. Is this it? No, this is not the play. I'm sorry. This ain't the play. Nope, that's not it either. Is it? So it was this last one. Okay, my mistake. Nope, it wasn't that one either. I saved the wrong play. Okay.
Okay, so I mean, this is.
I'll pull it up. Give me 1 second. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead.
No. You go. I'll pull it up.
And the most infuriating thing about this whole deal is, I remember a radio show being called into. I remember being asked, "What are you bitching about? We scored 30 points a game. What are you bitching about? We don't need a number one receiver. We don't have numbers." And that same person that called into the radio show, his aha moment, his I got you moment, was a guy that didn't even dress yesterday, Elijah Moore. What is Josh Palmer about? Separation? You know, he was, I did the numbers, by level. He's never cracked the top 50 in separation. So what are we doing? You know, I know people want to come in here and bash Trey White. I know people want to come in here and bash. No, the defense had a 33%. They got off the field 66% of the time on 3rd down. They ain't never did that before.
Right.
This defense gave up 23 points against a quarterback who's like Josh Allen. And guess what? We couldn't score but 20 points. That's all we got. We're sloppy. It was a mess. I mean, you had 3 turnovers. You had 8 offensive penalties, 3 on Connor McGovern. 2 of the offensive penalties were caused by Josh Allen, or RPOs that he didn't realize. I got to do something faster. That little flip to Shakir, you can't do that. That can't be done because the philosophy behind an RPO is 1 second block, then go, because it's going to be a run one way or another. Josh has to understand, I got to eat this. I can't make a flip play. I can't make a play at this point. I got to take it. I made a bad decision. It is what it is. The other one on Keon Coleman, you got to get rid of the ball faster because he's got to block. There's a reason for that. You have to block.
Right. All right. So we'll use this play as an example here, and this is supposed to be a short middle to Shakir here. Give me 1 second. Let me get rid of this one because I don't know what play I was thinking of here, but let's pull this one up here, and we want this middle one. Bam. Okay. Now let's get here. Let's bring that up, and let's go back here. Blow that up. Okay. Now, this is a play that was mentioned a lot on the radio. A lot of people talked about Josh missed Curtis Samuel wide open on that flag route, right? So I wanted to go back and I wanted to take a look at it. And I'll let it play for a second, and we'll get to the point where.
All right, so Samuel's inside slot.
Yep, Samuel's right here. That's Samuel running. Okay, stop right there. Now, this is where Samuel is open. The ball, if it was going to be on time, should have already been thrown in the air.
Yeah, because look where the linebackers look. Linebackers looking at Coleman right now. So
right.
No, back one. Yeah, right here. Look where he's looking. He's over here. The ball actually should have been thrown before that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so It should already be basically at the 15 right now.
Right. Now, the issue here is, you see where Josh is? He's already out of the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
He felt a little bit of pressure from over here. He exits the pocket. Let's back it up just a little bit.
He cut off half the field, basically.
Yep. So the play goes. Got your motion. Okay, boom. This is what Josh Allen felt.
Mm-hmm.
He saw this guy get up on the top shoulder of Dawkins there, right? And he starts scrambling. Now, even at this point, he doesn't have to come all the way over here. You just take a few steps over this way.
Step up.
Step right back up into the pocket right up around here, and then let the ball go.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? My screen's not working? It's not showing? Hold on, let me refresh it. Yeah, it's definitely.
Oh, Spin said press play so we can see it.
Yep. So the issue here is I am doing that, and okay, that's why. So I for some reason these tabs got switched, and that's why.
I'm glad you know, because I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Stop sharing that one. I don't know why this does this. I cannot wait until we switch over. I really can't, because stuff like this. No.
Spin says, so you have to press play on the tab. See?
What is this?
So at any rate, no, I mean, he's gonna find it again while he's doing that. The basic premise of this is, we're piling on no separation. We're piling on wide receiver inability to do stuff. But in actuality, when you step back and you pile back the layers of what's actually happening in this, it's a combination. It's not just the receivers, it's not just Josh. But what it is a natural tendency from Josh to either want to make a big play, or he wants to make a big play with his legs, wants to make a big play with his arms. Sometimes you just got to take what they give you.
Mm-hmm.
And this is obvious. Well, this video actually is just a bad decision by Josh all the way around.
Okay. Y'all seeing that now? I apologize. Okay. Yep. It's working now. Okay. So
inside slot coming up across the 15. And
this is
look
where
the
the
linebacker is. Yep. Look where the linebacker's eyes are. Samuel's right behind him. It's a horrible play by the linebacker.
Yep. Linebacker is still watching Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, at this point, Josh has enough space to step up in the pocket right there and let this ball go right up in right. Basically, the ball should get right to that 10 right there, like on a line drive. He's got to throw it line drive because this corner is not respecting this underneath route just yet. Mm-hmm. But as you see, this corner starts to take a step up, but the further over here that Josh gets in this area, this corner starts to cheat on Samuel's route, right? Mm-hmm. So look, he stepped up, now he's cheating back right there.
Yep.
So again, this is one of several plays that I watched where Josh is exiting the pocket early. He really didn't need to do that. And here's the other thing too. I'll go ahead and get this off the screen. Here's the other part of this too.
Can you pull up another play maybe?
Yeah. What do you want to see?
Second quarter. No, it's 2nd down 7 with 5 minutes left in the second quarter.
Let me see here. You said second
quarter? Yeah, second quarter. It's 2nd and 7 with 5 minutes left.
With 5 minutes left in the quarter?
Yeah.
Is this the Josh Allen screen?
That one. Okay. So basically what I want you to see is you got to look at this play for what it is. This is 2nd and 7, and this is all your MVP franchise guy. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to understand that you don't have to sell out for the big runs. Right here, if you look at right
where
here, if you look,
just use your mouse.
Now go. Go.
Yep, there you go.
See, he's scrambling. He's still. Look at this guy right here. This guy right here. He already made his mind up to go. He's got to beat on this guy. He's open. And I don't even know what he was doing just a minute ago, but I can tell you these two guys were options you could go to.
Exactly.
Now he's behind the sticks. So this would have been a first down.
First down, yep.
And this guy had momentum on this guy, so he can probably get yak yardage if he beats Gonzalez. But instead, Josh takes off. He gets the first down, but at what cost?
Right.
It's a 20-yard play. But this is when they say Josh puts his cape on and takes over a game. You have to do that. What if you get hit at the end? What if somebody rolls up on you? We saw the play. I think they say he got hurt in the game. He hurt his leg. The PCL thigh doctor said could have been. Mm-hmm. But
no, leave it because I want to see how close the linebacker was. Because that also might have been part of the reason why Josh didn't throw. But I just want to cancel that out.
Yeah, take your time. Yeah.
So Josh taking a drop back. So at this point, boom, right here, Josh has plenty of space.
Mm-hmm.
To do exactly what he did earlier in the game when he kind of scrambled through past the line, past his offensive line a little bit and threw that bullet to Kincaid. Yep. He could have did the same exact thing here,
mm-hmm.
right? This guy is not going to react fast enough if Josh can just get it over him and get it to Coleman. Yeah. This guy is not in position to drive at that point. So by the time
Coleman's got yak, look at this. He's got yak position.
Right, but done deal right there. Even if Josh just flips it to this guy, nobody is in a position to intercept that pass if Josh can just do a quick flip to Coleman. Coleman is going to get a first down, maybe another 5 or 10 yards after that, right? But that I just wanted to check and make sure that this defender that was closing in on him wasn't so close that it kind of precluded Josh from getting the ball out. But yeah, I mean, this is another prime example.
Yeah, I mean, this is the stuff when people say he's got to put his cape on and do these things. This is stuff I'm looking at. I'm like, yeah, I couldn't see that. Oh man, they couldn't see that play either.
What?
Don't comment on things.
Hold on.
We got to go back to this again.
Yeah,
honestly, I like this because we're actually getting to show you stuff, but I'm trying to look at the comments. I don't understand 66.
Here it is here.
Okay, they're arguing amongst each other. And Roy, that's McCorvin. I think it's McGovern. Well, I know you knew that, but
yeah. All right, so we're gonna show you guys from the sideline view again the entire play. All right. Let me just make sure this is playing. Yeah, it's playing.
Okay. There. Can you guys see stuff moving?
Yeah, they should be able to.
Okay.
If we're seeing it move, it's got to be moving for them. All right. So stop it here.
Clean pocket.
Yep, clean pocket. Now again, this is what? Second and
7.
So this is 2nd and 7. Right? Clean pocket. Everything is in play on 2nd and 7, right? You got James Cook over here if you want it on 2nd and 7. But by the time the pressure from Landry gets to the point where Josh feels he needs to get out, what you're pointing to is boom, right here, right? From what you just said, you got Coleman in the middle here, wide open.
For first down.
Who's this over here that Gonzalez is?
That should be Shakir.
Okay, so Gonzalez. So there's a few times where they look to put Shakir on Gonzalez on Shakir to kind of shut him down. Which is another Patriot staple. We're gonna take our best guy, put him on your best guy, shut him down, and then you're gonna have to win left-handed. But again, this still should have worked out perfectly for Josh without him having to run, because this is the play, as you said, where he scrambles and people are praising him for putting the cape on at that point. But look at what he had over the middle. He didn't. This was a game where Josh made the game harder than it needed to be. And looking at a lot of these plays, it wasn't as if the Patriots were doing something that was so confusing. This is man coverage.
Right.
It's plain old man coverage. Now, here's the thing that when it comes to Josh, he's got to get away from, which is if it doesn't feel comfortable initially, he'll do what he's doing and just take off. I got to go make a play, right? If he doesn't feel the offense is in rhythm, if he doesn't feel like he can trust everybody, because the play that I was going to try and show was another play where Coleman was running a deep dig and Josh Allen scrambled to his left, and this is the series after Coleman fumbled, right? So the series after Coleman fumbled, and they get the ball back. Josh scrambles to his left. He's got Coleman running open enough on a dig route towards the left sideline, and instead of getting the ball to Coleman, Josh Allen just scrambles for a couple of yards.
Yeah, I mean that's something that he does, and that's one thing I know. People talk about the rat birds a lot, but if you notice, a lot of times Lamar Jackson, he scrambles just far enough to flip it somewhere. He always has his eyes downfield. He doesn't really seem to want to run. And Josh is like, yo, I'm out of here. I'm going with it. And Kevin said if he trusted the guys to catch the ball, I mean, people drop balls.
Right.
That's what happens. It happens. Tommy said Josh already chose to run before the Coleman was open. I know. He chose to run, but he didn't have to. That's the point. Spence said he probably felt the pressure behind him is probably why he didn't throw to Coleman, but he would see. The thing is, you see him make that flip 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000. You see him make that flip. He made that flip on a touchdown to Jackson Hawes. He makes that flip to Shakir. He makes that flip to everybody else, and it just doesn't happen that time. So maybe that play is something that, okay, fine, he can run, but what about the rest of the openings? I mean, I watched numerous plays, and actually, the only play that I can tell you for sure that there was nobody open was the interception. In which case, throw it away. Don't for there. I mean, there were two guys converging on the intended receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Just throw it away at that point. But sometimes, like you said, he makes them. Billy D. The middle was open the whole time. Okay, I'm talking to everybody. Like I can't even get my thoughts up because
you want to show something else?
Nah, I'd be here doing a whole Cover One show. Roy said, "I hope y'all got permission Cover One to do a film session show." Nah.
Yeah. Okay. We don't need to even go there.
Yeah, Sean. I know. I mean, the thing, and it's, this is not me saying, "Oh snap, I get to pile on a guy," but I mean, these are the things that I see, and I'm like, it's maddening that as good as he is, there's things that he misses. There's things that he doesn't sell out for. Like for instance, he got 19 yards on 2nd and 7, but make it easy. Make it easy on yourself. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Just go ahead and throw the ball, or
Right.
or take that half a step. But he seemed like he was hitching a lot. He seemed like he was hitching a lot in this game. He seemed like he was indecisive. It was things he didn't like what he was seeing. He didn't trust what he was seeing. So he made the game a world harder than it had to be. And those play actions, you got to sell the play action better. Because when you do this and Cook is already over there, nobody's falling for it.
Yeah.
They're already in pass coverage.
The other part of that too is when you're running. So Chris Collinsworth, pretty much the whole second half of the game, was like exposing everything about the Buffalo Bills to the fans that we may not have been paying attention to unless you watch film like us, which is anytime Josh is under center, they're running the ball. If Josh is in shotgun, they're passing the ball. And looking at that, it's like, well, if your color guy is pointing this stuff out and he's noticing this, other teams have to be noticing this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It literally cannot be a situation where the Bills think they are fooling anybody. It has to be a situation where the Bills, like Chris Collinsworth said, they don't care if you know what they're going to do. They're going to do it anyway.
Yep.
That's a much bigger problem.
Every time I see him, I just think, now here's a guy. Every time I see him, it just pops in my head. Now there's a guy.
Look, my issue is this: when you run with that type of mindset, you better be able to back it up, because that's a level of arrogance that should only exist for teams that have been there and done that, like the Chiefs, right? The Chiefs, and I said this on our Discord chat earlier this morning. The Chiefs were winning games like we've been winning games this season, pretty much all last season until week 11,
mm-hmm.
right? So they went 10 weeks of winning like that. We couldn't even go 5. I mean, again, to some degree, they had better competition in their division.
Yeah,
better competition in their division in terms of the defenses they had to face, the quarterbacks that they had to face, and the coaches that they had to face. Right. So for me, it really comes down to how Sean views this team. Because everything that we're seeing now is Sean's vision. This is the first 4 weeks of the season is we play complimentary football. There's a few things we got to tweak and fix, but we're winning with the running game. Josh doesn't have to do too much. All the national media pundits are praising Josh for how great he's playing because he's not taking chances, not putting the ball at risk, all that stuff. It looks and sounds and feels great because they're winning games. Meanwhile, you and I are sitting here to some degree, me to a larger degree, saying there's something wrong with the way they're winning these games. Mm-hmm. They can't keep tripping and stumbling and fumbling into 30 points. At some point, that's gonna come up to bite them.
Okay, Sean, we'll do the best we can. He said we can't call him by his first name anymore because he doesn't want to share the same name as him.
Man, that. We gonna call him Sean all day long now. All day long now.
And let's see. I want to get to Albert. When announcer says that Dion is wide out and Josh is under center, he goes 70 left. 70 goes 70, I guess, percent left. It pissed me off. Why does he know that? I can tell you why. Because he knows he's part owner of PFF. So,
yep.
PFF They force feed him all the data they can before anybody else can get it. That's why he knows so much about every team, and that's why he sounds like he really has a clue. Because he has all the analysts, he has all the analytics, he has all the people in his backing that can feed him whatever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants, and it works. So I wish I had that. Sean said, please. No, you're pissed off. There was another one up here. What is our confidence in Joe Brady? I never had a lot of confidence in Joe Brady, honestly, Roy. I was hoping he would show me something. I think he'll get better. But I'm tired of saying maybe next year he just got to keep growing, because you don't have that much time in growing. And actually, I was at the UB game with my uncle on Saturday, and we were talking about NILs and the transfer portal, because UB's losing one of their best cornerbacks to the portal. And he said, I hate that. And I remember how we used to say Sean be a great college coach. I don't think so anymore. The reason why is because you don't have even 4 years to build your culture. You don't have, you can't get it. You can't have yourself a council, a leadership council, when they all leave, especially if you're a mid-major. Even Alabama players, even Notre Dame players, they transfer because they can't play behind. And so you're left with 25-year-old seniors, super seniors, and people that are going to play 1 year with you. So I wish a lot more guys in college would go to the pro league, because you need that kind of urgency, and they're trained to be urgent like that now because of the demands of the college football game. So I say this to say this process, everybody says follow the process, like the process. Have you ever heard of a business term called go live date? When does this process go live? I don't want to poop on this process, because we have seen positives from the process.
Yeah.
But when does it go live? When are we out of test and qual and going to pride?
When are we out of the process of building this thing and into the process of just driving the
actually
car?
Driving the thing home?
Yeah, and that's a great point. You know what? So let's pull up this next play. Because I kind of wanted. So this is the sack that Milton Williams got on Josh here. Let me.
He just laid there like, are you kidding me?
Let me see. No, not that one. This one. Okay, perfect. So, boom. Let me make sure this is showing up here. Boom. Okay. Hopefully y'all can see that. Y'all should be able to see that, because I can see it on our monitor here. Okay. So, really quick, you're gonna see the play call first and foremost. But I want to show this as an example of the play call and what leads sometimes to Josh Allen feeling like he needs to break out, right? So here, let's run the play. Okay, so now this is, let me just make sure I understand what down and distance is. This is 3rd and 7. All right, so this is a gotta have it down. So 3rd and 7, what do you see here now? You see Milton Williams has already gotten through. Now on this particular play, they did blitz 4 on Josh's right side.
Is this the one where he just destroyed Spencer Brown?
Well, Spencer Brown is right here. Has his guy. What ends up happening is, my boy David Edwards decided he wanted to do Deion Dawkins' job for him, right? So I just want to show this part first, though. Okay, so here's the first down marker. The only route that you really got coming open is this one, but that ball's got to already be out and in his chest right now for that to be a first down, because you got this linebacker cheating over, right? Outside of that, you got to hope that Christian Gonzalez is going to read this and stay with Coleman running that out route, or not the out route, but the deep fade, because you got Kincaid coming on another dig going outside here. But again, you have to hope that 25 right here is staying on Shakir. Before Josh can even get to that place, this is not a play call that you want to run when your offensive line has been showing signs of struggling to this point, right? Because to this point, it is
this cover 3 or is this man?
It's cover. So it looks like
probably man, right?
No, it looks like cover 3, because you got a single high up top. So I'm pretty sure this is cover 3. So yeah, because you got 2 guys. You got 3 across the middle here. You got your 2 corners basically, matching the guy in their zone, and then you got a guy over the top. So this is cover 3.
Okay.
So let's blow this back up. All right, now I'm gonna back it up just a little bit because I want you to see what led to Josh Allen feeling, like he's got to start breaking out and making things happen on his own. Watch David Edwards right here. The guy in the middle with the ball. We all know who that is. Watch the guy to his left. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and play this. Okay, now stop right here. You see, they're sending 4 at McGovern, Torrance, and Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we know this is already screwed up to begin with. What helps this situation here? Oh, I'm sorry. Before we get to what helps this situation, not only did they send 4, but Landry bounces inside on a quick twist to throw Torrance off. Whoever the heck he's supposed to block.
Mm-hmm.
So there's confusion with that as well, right? Very well drawn up blitz, if I do say. But look at David Edwards start to immediately turn his back
look at
to
his
the
footwork.
entire offensive line on his right-hand side. He turned his back to this entire blitz.
Look at his footwork. How are you blocking like that?
Right.
So if 99 makes a move on Dawkins right there, what's Edwards going to do?
Not a thing.
He's going to fall down. Is what he's going to do.
Right. So look at what Edwards starts to do after that. We already see that Deion Dawkins is engaged with 99. Look at what Edwards does.
He goes give him a hug.
What the is that?
That's like Daniel Falele from Baltimore. That's exactly what he would do.
He's hugging the dude's helmet.
Dawkins like, what the hell just happened? What?
So let's back this up one more time because I want you to see the confusion on Torrance as he tries to figure out this twist. Look at him up top. Oh, hell. Oh.
Yep.
Again, stuff like this is what causes Josh Allen to see ghosts throughout the game and miss passes. When he feels like he can't trust the guys in front of him, you know what this looks like? This looks like sugar high Josh. We wonder why we saw sugar high Josh. It really comes down to how he trusts the protection.
Mm-hmm.
If you want this man to stay patient and stay in the pocket like a Jared Goff does or like a Patrick Mahomes does, you got to get him elite blocking. Yeah. This ain't it.
No, Sean is pushing back, and I think we're going to have to call McDermott Sean again because Sean is pushing back. He says it's not on Edwards as a blocking assignment. Okay, I get it. But this is my only contention, Sean. Don't bite my head off. This is my thought. The body posture.
Let me pull this back up.
Can you go? Go end zone view.
Okay.
Yeah, that the body posture is poor. The twists, I got it. You're right. I understand the blocking assignment. The slides were off probably. Somebody missed a call, but it's just the fact that you see the engage. If you see a guy engaged and not losing his rep, i.e. Deion Dawkins, you're not going to go over there and fix it. He's saying something to him right there. Dawkins tapped Edwards and said something. I guess he's signifying a blitz of some sort.
He probably sees the blitz coming and wants that is his name, whatever his name, 26 to be out there.
That's Ty Johnson.
Yep, Ty Johnson.
See right here, that's what right here when you see him winning. He gave up all this gap, all this ground in the middle here.
Mm-hmm.
My thought process would be not to turn your back on the other side just in case there's a looper around 66.
Exactly.
But his back is closed off to the whole half of the field. Yep. So that's my contention with David Edwards. The slide obviously was wrong. It was a bad play. People missed. And this was a play where Josh needs to get out. Look at that gap.
Yeah.
Josh got to get out of there.
But he's got eyes on him.
It's Spillane. I mean, he's a beast and all, but if this is a Cape boy, if this is a bat boy, whatever, he's got to make that play. And I know right here, see, this is right that looper right there on 66 is where I thought Edwards should at least have cognizance on. Instead, Josh runs into the play. He runs into the defensive play. That's what they wanted. And Spencer Brown right there is caught up because Torrance is caught up, and it was a win.
Yeah,
100% win. And it happens, like Sean said, it happens. So I'm not crucifying it, but it's just an ugly way to play that one right there.
Yeah, there's no time for Josh at all on this play. Look at David Edwards. Like, what's Deion Dawkins doing? Right,
he's like,
Dawkins,
bro, you good?
Dawkins has no idea what to do after his own partner just jumped right in front of him and took his block.
He's like, why am I laying up at guard?
Right.
Why am I here?
I think Edwards is trying to work on a raise. I play tackle, so you got to give me the ball. But to be clear, before we make any assumptions that this was on Josh, this route is just breaking and there's a guy in his face. He's already started to try and break out of the pocket. Kincaid is already broke outside, but there's no space for him to step up and make that throw. If you're
looking, people say, look at Shakir right there. He's wide open. But the thing you got to realize, this isn't Madden. His back is closed off the left side of the field.
Exactly.
There's nothing over there. Kincaid no more. Shakir no more. Everything is on the right side, which was closed off. So this play was dead on 3 levels. Right there, you would say, oh, Shakir's wide open. You can't see that.
Right.
Can't see that.
He's trying to get out of the pocket at that point. So again, these are examples of what we were talking about, where Josh Allen didn't have his best game. He's missing players, but the justification for Josh playing the way that he played is his offensive line protections weren't great. They weren't great. When you have instances like this on any kind of regular basis, this happened multiple times, where he had pass rushers getting through and getting pressures on Josh. So Josh is now speeding up his own clock. Once you get to that point where you're able to speed up a quarterback's clock, your defensive line is winning.
Okay, Sean's saying it was on Josh pre-snap, which okay. I mean, I'm not.
So we can't blame the offensive line at all.
No. I'm not laughing at the point. I'm saying. Well, I'm saying okay because it's like, in my mind, that blitz was hidden so well.
Right.
He's not going to see that. So I think that one, like Sean said earlier, is just chalk it up to we just lost that rep.
See, here's the thing too. If it was a straight on blitz, Singletary helps and we're fine.
Whoa. Who?
I'm sorry, not Singletary.
Tommy is over the moon right now.
I saw 26.
Tommy's like, yes.
I saw 26.
But yeah.
But yeah, Ty Johnson helps and we're fine. Right? If it's just a straight on blitz, right? But what happens? They run a twist with that same 4-man blitz on the one side against 3 linemen. There's no way to stop that. No way. Right? So
you did it now. Right? I had to.
But yeah, so again, the idea here is not to get so bent out of shape about, oh, we need a receiver. Do we need a receiver? 1,000%.
Oh, we need a receiver? Why would we need a receiver?
I still think we need a receiver.
That number 8 guy, I wish I had that. We did.
Exactly.
Under contract.
Exactly.
And he said, I don't want to do what everybody eats. So instead, I'm going for 160 or 140, whatever it was. And it's fine.
Yep.
Great. You know, oh, man. Like, the thing is, how can you look me in my face and let the Patriots beat us in the last game we're going to play against them in that stadium by the guy that you said, we don't need you. We can just fine without you. We'll be better without you. And the fans believe it. Right. The fans believe we don't need this number 1 guy. The fans believe Josh Palmer's fine. Elijah Moore's good. Well, what if we just scheme this open? What if we do that? So I heard something earlier on the radio that actually made me think. Am I cap? Is that cap towards me, Cato? Or I don't know. I was on a tangent. Anyway, see, they said the Bills have one guy who has almost the same skill set as Diggs. Not as good, but the same skill set. It's number 10. At this point in time, is Palmer that good you can't move 10 outside?
No.
Is even is Coleman good enough that you can't move outside? What about
Coleman is better served inside anyway?
Exactly. What about Elijah Moore? Is he better? He ain't even dressed.
I like this. Sean WGR.
But the thing is, like, if why not do that? Because why do we have to sell out and wait? Because they always say this. They always say we got to go for somebody in the trade deadline. We got to. You realize the last 2 years we drafted and then we went to the trade deadline to make a move. So they're talking about we want a cornerback this year, but guess what we did? We got Trey White. We got Dane Jackson. We went and drafted Max Harrison. We drafted Dorian Strong. Yes, I know Dorian Strong was hurt, but this bites on the butt. Now, why did you put Max Harrison on IR again?
Because he's injured.
But is he 4 weeks injured and you got to take him off the field, off the practice field? He's been practicing for what? For a week now, 2 weeks, not practicing, but he's been going through drills. And you took it.
He has
drills, individuals, like they show him testing. Like, okay, but the thing is, when you put him on IR as a rookie, you're stunning his growth. You were going to play Trey White anyway.
Yep.
Dorian Strowman's going to play anyway.
Yep.
So what's to say Max Harrison couldn't go in the game and platoon with Trey White next week?
It's for the name. It's for the sake of pulling up guys like Fidarian, whatever his name is, and Zion Lowe.
I was like, when the hell we get this guy?
Last week.
Findarian. I'm like, Findarian? Jeez, who are you named after? But anyway, I mean, Shakir is being handcuffed. Shakir, all he's getting is yak yardage. He's working his butt off to be a running back, basically.
He had the same amount of targets as Kincaid did. They both had 6. That was the highest number of targets, or I'm sorry, the highest number of catches for any player on this team.
Yeah. And the thing is, what are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah. Shakir is unguardable. But you send him on these little short routes. He's probably the fastest wide receiver you have on the field. I mean, Curtis Samuel is faster, in the 40 time. Speed, in 40 time, and Elijah Moore in 40 time, but Shakir is faster on the field. You can see it in the way he cuts, the way he moves, but we handcuff him and put him in the slot for what?
Listen, the Chargers drafted Ladd McConkey last year and played him all over the field.
Yep.
And he was primarily a slot guy in college.
Yep.
So the idea is if you have speed and you can run routes really well, you should be able to play everywhere.
Yeah. And
to me, the part that sticks out about this the most is yet again you're in a situation where you're at 3rd and 7 and you needed a first down, and the reason you don't get that is because A, Josh doesn't trust his offensive line and gets out early, and B, you don't have a guy that is as good as Stephon Diggs at getting open when you need to get open. Truth be told, the Bills shouldn't have even been in that position. If they had a guy on their team like Steph Diggs getting open, I'm sorry, let me back up. They did have a guy like that in Kincaid and just stopped getting him the ball consistently.
He was getting ridiculous. He was getting brolic with it.
Whatever he wanted.
He was getting pumped up.
Exactly.
And Sean, I don't think I laughed at you. When did I do that? I definitely didn't mock you, and I don't think I laughed at you.
No, but all right, so check this out. I got a surprise for you guys. I want to answer this one question real quick from Zuzu. Thank you for the super chat. My man says, why did McDummy have Coleman benched at the start?
It was a disciplinary issue again.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
Did they say what for?
I didn't see what for, but I know I saw disciplinary.
FH said, don't get me started.
The second time again. They said second time in 2 years. Just something with discipline. He must be missing something, late to something. I don't know.
Wow. Okay. All right. Here I got a surprise for you guys. And look, to be perfectly honest, let me bring my man up here. Uh-oh. Did he freeze? I hope he didn't freeze. Please don't freeze. Please don't freeze. There he is. Buffalo's own Steve Lynn in the house. What's going on, bruh? Uh-oh. Can you hear us? We not getting nothing. I don't hear you. I got you on stage. Hold on. Unmute so I can't unmute your mic. Maybe try unmuting it. Oh my gosh. Nope, still not hearing you. Still not hearing you. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna put you backstage. We'll figure the audio issue out, and then text me if you need to. You're trying to figure that out and you don't know how, and then we'll go from there. All right. So, what I wanted to do for Steve, and for myself, really, because I've been watching Steve, get a lot of flack in the chat most of last season and this season when when he and I kind of talked about okay, it looks like he's got it back now. Steve, you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you. What up, bro?
All right, great. It's great to be on with you guys. Aramis, sorry if the connection goes a little bit bad. It's been shaky. Been trying to get on for the last since 5:30. So hopefully it goes through.
Yeah, no, it sounds great. It looks great. Thank you very much for coming on, my man. Look, you've been rocking with us for a long time, pretty much since the beginning. And I said for a while, the points that you make, while they may seem harsh, it's the truth and people need to hear it, right? So one of the first things I wanted to get to in specific with some of the things that you've said in the past is just kind of talking about the quality of players that we get, right? And for me, listen, this is an opportunity for both of us to kind of take a victory lap in this situation and try to show and prove, like, look, what we put on the field to a larger degree has not been enough to accomplish the main goal, right? So what are your thoughts on what you saw last night in terms of player quality?
I mean, let's first do like a baseline of intelligence. It's not for I'm talking to everyone in the chat. It's not sort of being negative. It's not sort of taking a victory lap because we lost or something. Because I think I grew up in Buffalo. We all love this team, and the fact that we always want the absolute best for this team to have all the elements and hit all the metrics to win a championship or have the best probability. And when we see errors, it is not negative to point them out. It is not negative to have the utmost standards and use like a lot of analytical facts and pattern to show, hey, after not 3 years, 5 years after Josh's rookie contract runs out, after 9 years, we're in year 9 of this administration, we've already seen enough where it's time to absolutely be truthful about it. So that's I want to establish first of all. Second of all, in terms of the quality of what we saw, just like defensively, when you're looking at the secondary, I mean, this is what you get when you missed on your first 3 picks consecutively, year after year after year. This is what you get. And this is to help everyone think better. This is not to talk down on any points or any person. This is not talk down to any person. This is to help your points get better. If an opposing point destroys your point in seconds, don't be mad at the opposing point. Be mad at the person that put you to sleep, hypnotized you to sleep, and brainwashed you so quickly to repeat that point. Who was that person? I'm talking about hey, hey, all GMs miss. You can't hit them all. GMs don't hit them all. Really? Yeah. The great GMs do. Well, not everyone can be Philadelphia or Kansas City. You're right. Not everyone can be the top 2 or 3 teams. That's why in the Super Bowl, there's 2 teams. That's why in the Final Four, there's 4 teams. If you're not one of those, you're just wasting time. And that's cool if you have Tyrod Taylor. But if you have Josh Allen or a Jim Kelly, and you have that window, you have to do it in that window, because once that window closes, it's another 20 years of listening to the John Murphy podcast or Buffalo One, listening to the fair going on in Buffalo or how the weather is. I mean, that's cool. I listen to it because I want to be close to Buffalo. Yeah. But if you want to really be at the top, there are certain things that we have to see. There's certain patterns that you see. And that's what you saw with what you saw. That's Brandon Beane missing on his top 3 picks every year consecutively. And there's a solution to this. There's a solution, and it's easy. It's not difficult.
Right. That to me has been. Go ahead.
I like to pitch something, if I could.
Yeah.
We rotate, right? We talk about depth.
Mhm.
Now, every year Brandon Bean likes to be cheap, which I think is good. It's, when you spend on free agents, you're taking a big gamble with a lot of money. So if you're going to be cheap, why not buy like the cheap positions that you can get a high end like level, but cheap, such as linebacker, such as a veteran corner that is a good combination of man and zone, such as
Mhm.
wink, wink. Hello, Stephon Gilmore. Come on in. Not Trey White, Stephon Gilmore. Such as, like a D tackle, like Calais Campbell. You can get, a good 2 years, 1 year, a veteran guy who can be that depth, who can rotate in when you need to play zone, who can rotate in when you're in, the red zone, that can rotate in when you need to stop the run. And then you draft more like high octane, like, high end athletic players. And it doesn't have to be he's high athletic, low character. It's always a combo, you know? It's always a combo. No one's extremely one or the other. Yes, there are, but you don't have to draft that. But, draft the high end athletic, you know, athletes in the expensive positions, such as quarterback, wide receiver, your lockdown corner,
Defensive end.
save money at like safety, yeah, exactly. Draft high at defensive end, trade your first 3 picks if you need to. You miss them anyways. Why not trade up?
Right.
You're talking about like, oh wow, like Micah is coming, could be possible trade candidate. Okay, we'll give him whatever. Well, then when the Giants, when Joe Shane was like, "Hey, Brandon, do you want to move up?" Why not say yes? I'll give you the first 3 picks for this, like Micah Parsons the next Micah Parsons out of Penn State, and I'll throw in AJ Epinesa. I'll give you first 3 picks and AJ Epinesa, and you get this guy on a rookie contract for 5 years. Why are you going to waste money on Micah when you can do that and take your chance and develop them in-house? There's ways to do this, and Bean has failed. So when you see this inferior product and you have guys goes like, hey, every GM miss. Hey guys, according to DVOA, he's fine. Levi Wallace is fine. They're fine. They're not great, but they're okay. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
No, these are liars, and they think you're stupid, and they want to lie to you and keep you like, giving them looks and giving them hits, and they then at the end of the season you're like, wait, I thought they were fine. I thought every GM makes mistakes. Why do we lose? And you're confused.
Yep.
That's what makes me angry. It's not that I don't love the fans. I love the fans. And I can't stand that these people know better and they lie to you guys.
Yep. And we allow it. We keep giving them our money, and we keep. So I said this at the beginning of the show, and let me know what you think about this.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Uh-oh, did we lose you? No, I think we lost Steve. I think we lost Steve. All right, we'll give Steve a chance to catch up here. Yeah. So look, here's one of the things that I think sticks out about what Steve was saying, which is this idea of us being lied to, right? We've kind of talked about this a lot, Key, from the standpoint of what Bean says he drafted versus what he actually drafted, right? I want to pull up a play here. And on this play, I want to show you the exact type of player that gets drafted here and the mentality of the player that gets drafted here and the skill level of the skill / talent level of the player that gets drafted here. Okay. So this is the Ramondre Stevenson touchdown. Okay. So this takes it to 19-10 after they score 19-10 after they score this one, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and play it. And actually, I'm gonna show this from the end zone because this is the best way to show everybody what's really going on here. All right. So Ramondre Stevenson, hold on, let me make sure I got this pulled up here. And Steve, I'll bring you up too so you can look at this. Steve, can you hear me? No, I'm not hearing him. Can you hear me, Steve? No. All right. Sorry. All right. So, I know we keep losing them. All right. So let's run this play. Now you got Ramondre Stevenson running just a inside zone. And I want you to pay attention to 24-8. And you'll see 27 coming from the right side of the screen. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and make sure. Yep, all right, I got that pulled up. All right, so here's the run play. Okay, now you saw him score a touchdown, but I want you to go back and see how he scores the touchdown. All right,
Bernard doing.
Exactly. So at this point, even though we see all of the offensive linemen just kind of charging to the right there.
Who is that? That's in the middle of the screen there. Is that Walker?
Where right here?
Yeah,
that's Zion Logue.
Okay.
Yeah. So Zion Logue, and I get what he was trying to do. He's trying to shoot the gap, to get his inside shoulder in there, shoot the gap. Excuse me, but he gives up too much of his back and ends up getting shoved out the way. Right. The other part of this too is this offensive lineman on the floor here is not supposed to be on the floor. This offensive lineman right here, the tackle, is supposed to get right up on Bernard, who's in front of Bishop here. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is at this point, even if let's just say 24-8 are frozen in time there because they think they need to take an extra second to see if this is a counter and make sure that this gap that's wide open is not where this running back is going to go. Even if that's the case, at this point in the game, at this point in the play, they still should be shooting gaps, right? So let's say this offensive lineman is on the floor here. Bernard is supposed to shoot this gap right behind this offensive lineman, and Bishop should be shooting right behind Bernard.
Yeah, there's no excuse. I mean, Rap should be in there at that point in time. Basically, what I'm looking at right now is they shot late. Rap gave up too much interior inside position, so he closed up that gap. But the outside gap between, I guess that's a tight end, and who is this guy? Is it two tight ends here? I'm guessing.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a 12 formation.
No. I'm sorry. This is Mac Hollins right here.
Okay, even worse. Okay, so he's got shoes on. I couldn't tell, but I mean, right now it looks like you got Bishop and Bernard. Bernard was a step late because it looked like Bishop was trying to push Bernard into the right position. Then he realized he wasn't moving, so he tried to get to the position.
Right.
This ankle biter here is on the ground grabbing at Bernard's ankle, it looks like, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, that's their tackle.
And Trey White has to shoot that gap between Mac Hollins and whoever that is, Hooper, I guess it is. That's the cause right there. Trey White's got to shoot that gap. You got to be physical at the point. Taylor Rapp needs to push that blocker back into the gap. He has to see that and commit.
Well, let's back it up just a second because I want everybody. So the reason I'm showing this again is to show you the mentality of these players.
Oh, Sven Darian is in there too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now we're cooking with grease.
Right.
Who the hell's 72?
So I get what you're saying as far as Trey White is concerned, but for where the gap is, you got three players, 24, 8, and 9. That should have shot that gap as soon as it opened, pretty much, because based on their reads on the offensive line and what's opening for the running back, it's easy to see where the ball is going, right? So Trey White shouldn't have even had to do anything. But let's look at what Taylor Rapp does. Taylor Rapp hops into position here, like he's going to shoot the gap. There's enough space to shoot the gap where if he kind of turns his shoulder to the inside here, there's not going to be anywhere for Mac Hollins to block. But what does Rap do? He stops and takes on the block.
Put it back where you had it. I was going to say something, but I didn't go to Bernard. Right there. Okay. See, this right here is on Bernard. This play is on Bernard. I'll tell you why. The middle linebacker, he knows we're shooting left. All the gaps are sealed off. If everybody's shooting left, the gap is going to be on the right side of your defensive line. Mm-hmm. He knows that. But look at Cole Bishop. He's tapping him on the back like, do something.
Right.
Literally, right. If you watch the play, he's literally like tapping him like, do something. And that's why Rap moves over, because technically he's not supposed to be there. The play flow is something that Bernard has to read, which he didn't. So in this instance, that play right there is on Bernard. It's not on Trey White. Now that gap right there would have been nice, but at this point, little Trey White, who we know isn't physical, versus Ramondre Stevenson is a loss.
Right, and that's the main point here. Is exactly what you just said. Little Terrell Bernard, who's not physical. Then you got another safety who's not choosing to be physical, and then you got a Trey White that's making business decisions over here. Look at the way they try to tackle this guy. He's sticking his arm out as if that's going to stop 250-pound Ramondre Stevenson. Then you got Bishop over here trying to tackle up high on a 250-pound Ramondre Stevenson. Benford is already beat. Mm-hmm. Benford was late to the gap. He's already beat. Stevenson is past him. There was no way Bernard was going to have a shot to get there and get him down unless he grabs a hold of his foot, right? But you got two of these guys just throwing their arms out there. The point here is, and Steve, you can give us your thoughts on this. The point here is you have defensive backs and linebackers that are built for pass coverage, that are former safeties in college, coming in, having to take on blocks from offensive linemen, and then shoot gaps to tackle 250-pound running backs. And instead of sticking their nose in there like they should, they're trying to make arm tackles. Damn it, we just lost Steve again.
Demaris is on Rap. Which I'm you know what? I put it on either Rap or Bernard. Demaris, do you not think that? What do you think about Bernard on that play? That's kind of what I want to know. Because I know his read, but when you're shooting to the left, I would think you know the hole is opening on the right, because there's nothing on the left side. You have.
I'll bring it back up so everybody can see.
You got Shaq Thompson coming crashing on the left side, so the C gap is open, is closed, the B gap's closed, the A gap on that side of the field is closed. So that means, by virtue of math, that Steve got 1G. That math, I can't get off of it now. Right now, what I'm so because run it, start over again. I think there. It started. I want you to watch Bernard and watch Bishop run up on Bernard's back. Watch what he does. Get out of the way. There should never be two guys that close to each other.
Yeah.
Bernard was just so late to recognize, but I guess I see.
Well, based on what Demaris is saying, and I agree, because again, I said the same thing. If Rap just shoots and doesn't try to take on the block, he gets there before anybody else.
There's no reason to try to take on the block. There's zero reason.
Exactly. So you see what I'm saying? He hops into position and turns his shoulder as if he's going to take on the block. Yeah. All he has to do is just shoot, just keep running. He can meet the running back right at this spot based on the time and the space that he had. That would have meant that Hollins would have had to have held him, tried to get a hook on the inside shoulder and got a flag for it, or tackle him.
And what it does also is it steers Stevenson head on with Bishop. So if Rap is more physical at the point, he closes that. What is that? I guess that's the C gap. The 5 gap. He closes that up and forces one-on-one with Ramondre Stevenson and Cole Bishop. That's what that does.
Right.
Instead, Hollins manipulates Rap, gets him out of position. He opens up a secondary hole. He's basically blocking 3 guys right there. Stevenson just has to make a move outside of that inside block.
Yep. So I mean, again, the idea here is we have players on this team that we're depending on to play physical and make plays and not make business decisions, or I guess prioritize business decisions over what's going on with the rest of the team, right? Over what the team needs are at that point in time. And I don't want to hear we'll get this fixed. This has been something that's been consistently happening the entire time that we've had Matt Milano and Tremaine Edmonds and all these other guys that come in with these mentalities that they are coverage guys and not linebackers.
Yeah. And you know, one person that would have made that play if nobody else?
Who?
Dorian Williams.
Yeah.
He would have made that
The
play.
one guy that would have just shot the gap and tried to blow this man up and had the best opportunity to do it.
Yep. Sitting on the bench because he
Sitting on
can't
the
cover.
bench.
But
Right.
he led the team in tackles last year.
Right. All right, Steve, we're going to try you one last time, bro. What you think? You hear me? Oh, okay. All right. I'm just going to text him. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
let's get that off of there.
And yeah, Damaris is not fixed with the current personnel and scheme. Exactly. That's 100% correct. This is where I have grievances. I sit here and I often say, you know, we can't just keep changing people. We can't say we can just go get. We can't. It's over for that. At this point in time, you got to dance with the person you brought to the ball, and the people you brought to the ball. You try to be cute. And I'm sitting here wondering when McDermott said we got too cute. Who? Offensive side, defensive side, what side? Who? The person? I mean, obviously, we're never going to find out. But when you say you got too cute, is it the end around is a flea flicker for no apparent reason that you never set up? Is it that they decided to go heavy for once in their lives? They went extreme. This was the most base they ran this whole season by far.
Yeah.
I think it was 52% or something like that. But the next close, you know what it is? 19%. 19% was the next closest, I think, week 2. So I'm sitting here struggling with a lot of the logic here, a lot of the arguments. It's like, okay, what can we do better? We can put people in the game, like you said, that we drafted, but you want everybody to be good at everything or decent at everything, and don't want anybody that's good at one or two things because they're not serviceable. I can't use them on special teams. What is Dorian Williams here for?
Right.
I mean, you got Shaq Thompson over here, and obviously Bernard's not going to be a head cracker. So Milano's never been a head cracker. He hasn't even been good.
Right.
So what are we doing with this linebacker here? Why didn't you draft Demetrius Knight? Why didn't you draft Pooh Paul? Why didn't you draft? Because we got it under control, guys. What are you bitching about? We got it under control.
Exactly. We're winning games. We're scoring 30 points a game.
30 points a game will happen until we're not.
Exactly. No Bone says, you guys love Dorian Williams. I think he sucks, but to each their own.
I don't love him, but I'm telling you, in a play like that, in a downhill play where you need a downhill linebacker, that's the one you have.
Right. And the point here is too, you need position, you need guys with position specific skill sets, right? And Terrell Bernard only fits one half of that skill set. You can teach Dorian Williams to be better in coverage. You can teach him that stuff. Is he gonna end up being what Terrell Bernard is in pass coverage? No.
Why can't he get the Levi Wallace treatment? Why can't he get we'll cover this deficiency up because we need you in what you're good at?
Right.
That's the thing that bothers me. We need this skill set, but because you're not good at what we want to do, that's not going to work all the time. We can't play you.
Right. Joseph says, what's going on? Joe says, just like when Brady gets flack, somewhat deserved at points, but Brady isn't running his offense. He's running Sean's vision. Watch Brady's LSU offenses, and it's nothing like exactly that's something that I've been saying since Brady got here. You guys should know by now that this is not Joe Brady's offense. And I think part of the reason why it's so predictable is you're trying to meld two mindsets about what to do on offense, right? You're trying to tell a guy who has been mostly air raid, most of his career has been air raid schemes. And he learned from Sean Payton, for crying out loud, right? And you're trying to tell this guy, no, we're not going to do air raid stuff. We need to be more efficient than what air raid allows. We need to run West Coast. We need to run the ball. We need to throw to the tight ends and throw bubble screens, take less risk, right? And what you do is you disrupt something that I want to give Tommy credit for this because this was the perfect thought. He was making a point about
He gave himself credit already. He said y'all were talking earlier today.
Okay, cool. But Tommy mentioned chemistry, right? And he mentioned having chemistry with these receivers, and that being some of the issue why some of these guys like Dalton Kincaid don't get the ball 8 to 10 times a game. They may only get it 6 because that's the play that was called, right? The idea of everybody eats takes away from that chemistry from the standpoint of if my offensive coordinator is calling a play to different players like 4 or 5 plays in a row, so your first play will be to Shakir, then you run the ball with Cook, then you get the ball to Kincaid, then you're throwing to Coleman after that. Like if the entire idea is to just go to the open guy, how do you get to the place with quarterback and receiver that Mahomes and Kelsey got to in the 13 seconds game, where Kelsey is like, hey, my man, I know what was called, but I'm finna run this fade route on Milano. He can't check me. Just get me the ball. I got this. That takes chemistry.
Yep.
That takes, because again, that's not something they practiced.
Yeah.
They just know each other. So they have such a chemistry that they can call that on the fly and get it done.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think I don't remember who I was talking about. Remember I said something to the effect in his last show where, I want the guys to like look at each other like, all right, yeah. And they don't even say no words. It's,
right.
They look at you like, you see it? I see it. I think it's Poyer and Hyde.
And
you see it? All right. You know what to do. I don't have to tell you, you'll drop back. I ain't got to do no. I just know I'm in your brain. I used to play. He drove me nuts. Drove me absolutely out of my mind in high school. But there was these twins played basketball. And I mean, they were absolute shooters. Absolutely, lights out. But one was better than the other, but the other one was a better point guard. They were both guards. And when I tell you, it was like telepathy. I remember one time the one twin, he picked the ball up, threw it between his legs down the court, threw it to his brother, didn't even look at him, just knew where he was. Just threw it down there.
Crazy.
I mean, it's just, I know what you like. I know you like this. I know you want that. You ain't got to tell me. But to the point of the offense, Keith, yeah, this is exactly. I'm not sure if you commented before, but if not, welcome.
Who's that?
Keith Gazer.
I feel like he's been in here before.
Maybe. Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. Well, either way, welcome, Keith.
But I like the point that this is what Josh wants.
It is.
And people, they push back on that. I don't believe it, blah, 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 but it is.
Right.
It is. And to the point, everything you want is not good for you.
Yep.
And for Josh, this isn't the right offense for Josh.
The types of backups that Josh wants in the room with him is not good for the team.
It's not. And the thing is, like, you want to play this kind of football, but this isn't what made you Josh. You're just ordinary now. Right now, you're 29 years old. You're living off your own legacy right now because you're not doing anything special. You're not doing anything spectacular. You're not doing what we need you to do to beat the real good teams.
Yep.
And that's my issue with Josh. See, when we played 2021, 2020, please sign me up. You've arrived. I'm him. Yep. And Stephon Diggs said I'm him, but you both are him together simultaneously.
Right.
But the thing is, now we got this offense with these players that don't do what Josh needs them to do, but he doesn't know that because he's not used to playing with the creme de la creme. I can do whatever I want because I want him, get him. I want him, get him because they want to play with me.
Right. And
that's the mentality that somebody needs to say, Josh, you're the attraction. People want to play with you. And everybody, let's go downfield. Why we do that? Josh doesn't hit that ball. And if you really look at that, see, there go Tommy. Not sure this is what Josh wants.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, okay. No, I like that point. He's a team guy and he's going to go at what the team has worked. Yeah.
I mean that's true too. But again, the thing that we have to, I guess, settle on whichever side of this discussion you're on, whether we think it's what Josh wants or whether we think it's he's a team guy. At the end of the day, there has to be some impression that Josh feels he can make to change things.
And I think that goes into what Tommy followed up with, and that's the part that bothers me. We've seen him work with Diggs perfectly fine, and we know that. But because he can do it doesn't mean he wants to do it. We know Josh doesn't want to have to force. He said, I don't want to force the ball to one person. I want to spread it around. I like this. So we know he was good there, but we didn't force him to keep doing it. We said, oh, you don't want to do it anymore? Fine, we'll get rid of that problem. $30 million, whatever. You're our guy. We'll get all these guys that want to play the style of football you want to play. But that guy we just re-signed would have helped you dramatically.
Well, so then I think we have to now look at what we have and kind of agree that this cannot be what Josh envisioned when he said what he said, because saying I don't want to have to just throw to one guy is fine, but what that doesn't mean you get rid of your $30 million receiver.
Oh yeah, sure.
Right. Thank you very much, Joe. Appreciate that, Joe. That does not mean you get rid of your $30 million receiver. What that means is you got to go get the Cole Beasleys and some of the other and the John Browns of the world and put them on your team so that Josh can go to whoever he wants to go to. Right? The way you cancel out a diva receiver is by adding another diva receiver on the team. That's the best way to do it. I'm saying it facetiously. I'm joking when I say that, but think about the problem that the Cowboys have right now, right? CeeDee Lamb goes down. You still got a number one receiver in Pickens.
Wow.
Why is that such a bad problem?
Well, they're both bad guys.
They're both terrible guys. They're divas. They want the money.
One doesn't want to show you top of his head. That shiesty thing.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, Kev said Josh didn't want Diggs going. I know he didn't. He said Diggs was a McDermott problem. Okay.
Yep. And that's true. That's true. I've reported that. A bunch of times.
Yeah. I mean that's fine. But the thing is, when they say when they're not going to do it if Josh says no.
Okay. I apologize.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jeff, it's not you personally.
We've heard this a lot.
But not everybody that's saying the same thing you saying needs to hear what I'm about to say. When you look at what what the Patriots did with Diggs last night, it's how you use the damn player. Stop talking to me about what he did or did not do in the playoffs when you're asking this man to run 40-yard routes and throw bombs to this dude down the field and ask him to make contested catches. I don't care what your expectation is of a number one wide receiver. You still have to use a player according to what he's capable of doing. Period. Not every number one wide receiver is CeeDee Lamb. Not every number one wide receiver is Justin Jefferson. Steph Diggs is a route runner. Use him like a damn route runner. Yeah. Stop looking at what he did or didn't do in the playoffs and saying, oh, well, that's why we got rid of him. No, you got rid of him because your head coach had a personal issue with him. That's why you got rid of him. Stop looking at the statistics. Stop worrying about anything else other than what he's able to do. He just came into our house and cooked us. Period. Can we at least admit that before y'all start flying off on the handle about what he did or didn't do in the playoffs? Can we admit that? Can we admit that he beat the out of us last night? Please.
The thing about the whole Diggs, and we talked about this either was it last Monday or last Friday. They changed the whole usage of him. They sent him on different routes so they weren't doing a regular season. That's why his play diminished in the playoff. They sent him deeper more often than not in the playoffs. In the regular season, everything was intermediate to short. This game in the playoffs, they decided they want to go screens, and deep. And what is the one play that he didn't make? A deep throw.
Right.
That we know he's not. Well, we don't know, but that's not one thing that we do often. Not with him. So should he have caught it? Yeah. But to say he didn't do anything in the playoffs, that bothers me.
Bears Johnson says, equally important as chemistry is game engagement. Everybody Eats is prone to game disengagement, hoping to eventually get a target and don't make mistakes is a fight to stay engaged. It is. And that's one of the things that I've been saying more recently about Everybody Eats is Everybody Eats, while it does suit what Josh said he wants, more of that is glorification for the coaches. And I'm not saying that the coaches are specifically doing this for their own glorification, but damn, it sure feels like it sometimes. Because when you look at this idea that you've even talked about, bro, of sum of parts, right? When you operate in that mindset of sum of parts, everybody eats, everybody's doing their job, everybody's doing their 1/11th, and you have no superstars to depend on, and you kind of convince your fan base that superstars in the NFL are all divas regardless of position, and you just happen to find the one superstar in the entire world in Josh Allen that doesn't think of himself. When you program your fan base to think that way, you're essentially saying it's the coach's responsibility to see this thing through to a Super Bowl. That's what you're essentially saying. We're going to tell the players what to do, and if they do what we tell them to do, they will be successful. If we don't do what they tell them to do, well, then it's a sloppy game. We had too many turnovers. We didn't play We didn't play with our fundamentals. We didn't play complementary football. That's the translation for all of that stuff. And what that does for players who are trying to earn their way into respectability in the league is it disengages them. Because first and foremost, I'm not getting enough reps to really get a feel for the guy that I'm playing across from. Yeah. I'm not really getting enough reps to kind of understand how I can impact this game the best. And lastly, I'm not getting enough reps to really feel like I can affect this game. All I can do is go out there and do my job. So what happens when a player has that in their brain? They look like they hold on, I'm trying to go back to it. What happens when a player has that in their mindset that I'm just going to do my 111th, it looks like this. It looks like the same play that we just went over where you got guys just trying to do their 111th. I'm not going to do too much. I'm just going to try and do my job. Right. Bernard is probably saying, well, I probably should have shot that a little bit faster. Right. But in Bernard's mindset, well, I'm trying to make sure that this backside is covered just in case. Bishop is looking like, well, I got last in line. I got to make sure that, I'm covering the last guy. So I'm gonna do my 111th and make sure that I'll shoot whatever gap that Bernard doesn't shoot. Right. So he starts to cheat over as soon as he sees Bernard go, then he go. By that time, it's too late. You need guys to be able to think without having to be told to think. And you can't have that if everything that is instilled in these players is do what I say to do.
Yeah. To Tommy's point, I mean, go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
To a little more. There we go. The 2021 Bills, everybody eats. I mean, the numbers, yeah, but what are we talking about target share? Because Beasley, yeah, he was a volume guy, but Sanders was a deep threat. Knox is not even half of what Diggs got in yardage. Mm-hmm. If you look at the targets, Stephon Diggs 164, Cole Beasley 112, and then the next person, Emmanuel Sanders, was 72. Dawson Knox was 71 targets. Gabe Davis 63 targets. So it's a stark drop off after the first two. You're talking about yardage, or you're talking about touchdowns. You had Dawson Knox with 9. You had Gabe Davis with 6. Stephon Diggs with 10, and everybody else had 2 or less, or 4 or less. I'm sorry. So it was spread around relatively decently, but how effective was that if you take away 164 targets from Stephon Diggs and 112 from Cole Beasley? Those for me, this is how can I say this? This is Hall and Oates, we'll say. You got the 2 front guys, and then you got the guys in the back. They got to do stuff because you can't just have 2 people, but it's not spread around equally. We're like in this season, 2021 and 2020, there was no, last week was Diggs. Who's it this week? Diggs again. Well, last week was Diggs. The week before that was Diggs. Who's it this week? Diggs again.
Right.
And then the rest of the fellas. And to me, that's not everybody's the way they're giving it to us. They're saying this week Shakir might have 6 targets. Next week it might be Dalton Kincaid. Next week it might be Keon Coleman, who had 112 yards in the first game of the week, first game of the season. So I think that everybody eats. It depends on what you're looking at when you hear everybody eats. Are you looking at the yardage, which is skewed by the depth of the target? Are you looking at the targets the target share? Because it's skewed big time. So I get it if you're looking at the yardage. I do. But for me, when you're looking at targets, we've talked about it. I'm a volume guy. It's nice to have, I think Tommy asked me, would I rather have a person with 2 catches for 80 yards versus somebody with like 8 catches for 110? And I said, give me 8 catches for 110 because that's sustainable. He's moving the chains. He probably has a touchdown somewhere in there. And that's the way I look at it, as opposed to 2 big boomer bust plays.
Yep. Bodega Cat says he didn't do anything. He's talking about Diggs. So why does it bother you? He got locked up by Snead and was a no-show in the Bengals game. Listen, how would you feel if I gave you a job and whatever hand you work best with, I told you to tie that hand behind your back, you can't use it. Then I told you you need to perform at a high level that you are clearly incapable of performing at with your offhand. That's what they did to Diggs. Most of 22 and 23. Well, I'll say 23 more than the latter half of 22, because the latter half, the playoffs of 22 is what you guys are all pointing to as he didn't do anything in the playoffs, and 23 as well. And what you need to understand though is that's the beginning of the transition of Sean McDermott coming in and saying we need to run the ball more. Right? That's the beginning of him nudging Ken Dorsey to start putting in more stuff for the run, start running more efficient plays, stop throwing the ball down the field so much, stop running so many deep end concepts and deep comeback concepts with Steph Diggs. It takes too long. We can't protect. It's not efficient. It causes Josh to try and do too much, right? That's the beginning of that process of Sean understanding, first and foremost, Daboll is out of the building. Why are we still running his offense? And B, I hired Dorsey. Now I want to see what I want to see, right? So I'm going to get out of this guy whatever I can. So the idea of he didn't do anything in the playoffs is flawed. When you go back and watch the tape and you look at the routes that he was asked to run and you look at the plays that were called to target him, they did not fit his skill set. Him catching a bubble screen, first and foremost, never been his skill set. Not ever, right? The Minnesota Miracle, that's his skill set. But you gotta be throwing the ball down the field in order to make that happen. When he was playing in Minnesota and we saw him getting the ball down the field, he was running deep post routes, burning safeties, right? Why? Because most of the coverage underneath was going to who? Adam Thielen. Right? Adam Thielen was their number one wide receiver, not Diggs. So because Diggs was as good as he was, he could get kind of, left, to his own devices and left to, whatever coverage was there on the backside of wherever Thielen was. That's why he had the kind of success that he had early on. There was somebody else creating space for him. So when he comes here and he's the guy and he's shaking people off the line and getting open like crazy, catching slants, all kind of stuff, and putting up 1,000 yards every single season, and then all of a sudden, a year and a half, 2 years later, you're using him in a completely different way. You want to blame him for that?
Yeah. Real quick. Thomas said, does Gabe Davis have the same game versus the Chiefs if the defense weren't focused more on Diggs and Sanders?
Thank you. That's exactly right. Gabe Davis at that point in time on the team was fourth. He was the fourth target in that game. But what did Daboll do? Daboll kind of did the opposite of what the Patriots do on defense, right? He said, okay, I'm going to attack you with the guy you least expect, and I'm going to scheme him open against your worst defender. And that's how he ended up with 200 yards, right? So, again, it's how you use a player. Because what happened after Daboll left? Davis couldn't do anything. To save his job, to save his career, to say whatever, he couldn't do anything after that. Right? So let's stop pretending like a wide receiver one, whatever guy we put into that position of wide receiver one is supposed to be able to do everything perfect. Is supposed to be able to take the top off the defense and make over the top catches and bully every single DB. Like your interpretation of that role is so unrealistic. It's not even funny. And you're taking that out on a guy that gave his heart and soul to the team. And all he asked for was an opportunity to win. And you snatch that away when you change the offense and put him in a position to not be able to contribute the way that he had been contributing when he was putting up 1,000 yards every season. And then you wonder why big time receivers don't even want to give us the time of day. OBJ, when he was fresh off of Cleveland and was still a pretty decent receiver, ended up going to the Rams. Mm-hmm. Why? Because he didn't want to take a pay cut to come somewhere where he wasn't going to be used properly.
Right.
That's the issue.
That's 100% right.
Let's move on to defense, because this everything is going to keep coming back to what Diggs did or didn't do. Yeah, I'm trying to be easy, but
no, what Diggs did was cookers yesterday. And to that point, this is why I didn't want to talk about the defensive backfield. Because you talk about how much they how bad they were just at third, but how many touchdowns did Drake May throw for?
none.
Right. That's the most important stat. They didn't score touchdowns on the defensive back. Yeah, everybody talks about the Trey White play where he could have turned his head, but guess what? He saved 6. He got split. He realized he got cooked. He was like, I gotta do something.
Yeah, not a bad point.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, okay, but why will we pile on Trey White? Do you know why we're piling on Trey White? Because the fan base wanted him to be so good, and we told you he wasn't. We told you it's probably over. And that's when I said, why are we bringing him back? Oh, it's a no. Onward and upward. You don't go back all the time. But when we talk about not at all. But when we talk about
which
Bodega Cat, Buffalo doesn't owe Diggs anything. But Lynn, I mean, my contention to that is, didn't you already know that? Didn't you see that in LA when he got released? Didn't you see that in Baltimore?
In Baltimore, yeah.
I mean, so when we're talking about Trey White, never should have been. Trey White should have never been on the field. Had they figured out how to use Dorian Strong earlier, had they maybe had some foresight, go get some other guys you haven't seen yet, some guys that are not on a reclamation tour, but instead you go get Trey White, you go get Dane Jackson, who may have to suit up now because you got 2 young guys who are either on IR or actually they're both still on IR. So now you have choices. Do you trade somebody and pay more money for another has-been? Because that's what's going to come.
They're probably just going to elevate Dane Jackson.
Yeah, and then when he sucks, they're going to trade for somebody that's going to cost.
Nah, I will believe it when I see it, but I think right now, the fact that these are all the guys that they brought back in the offseason, I mean, the fact that they drafted 2 corners, and then they re-signed Dane Jackson back to the squad, and they signed Trey White back to the squad. The fact that those were the 2 outside free agents that they brought back after, or I'm sorry, they drafted those 2 guys after they had already brought back 2 veterans. That tells me they feel like they filled that corner room with enough veteran leadership and enough young talent to provide the depth that they're going to need the rest of the season.
Well, they did, but now 2 of them are hurt. That's what I'm saying. The plan has changed now that you have Benford on one side and the 2 young guys that you're going to ease in are not available. So you call up, you're going to call up Dane Jackson. You got Cam Lewis still, but if Dane Jackson is Dane Jackson, as we know Dane Jackson to be, you got to do something. So it's going to be, it's for free agent, it's going to be a Pendarian kind of dude. I didn't know his last name. I'm sorry, dude.
No, I strongly believe that at that point the Bills would have no choice but to elevate Max Hairston, right? Who was it? I think Daniel. No, you pointed this out earlier in the show. That Max Hairston is doing individual drills, right? So he's healthy enough to do drills. He's just not practicing right now, and he hasn't been. His window to return has not been opened. Right. He's technically still on IR, even though he's doing individual drills. Now, if the injury was still an issue, there probably would at this point in time, because again, this week should have been the time where he's considered fully healed according to the prognosis. Right. So if he's doing drills already, it cannot be a complication with the healing process. He wouldn't be doing individual drills already. Right. So what does that really mean? Right. Like, this is where we get to the truth, because the Bills are telling us, well, he's still on IR. The last thing that Sean said about it was that, it's a unique injury, as if to say what? The timetable might be a little different than what we thought it was. That's really what he's trying to say without saying it. Right. But then you turn around and you hear from 40 keys that he's doing individual drills, right? So what's the truth here? The truth has to be exactly what I reported, which is he ain't got the playbook down, right? And if he ain't got the playbook down, there's no point in calling him up right now to be a part of this 53 when we can't even use him. We can't put him on special teams. We can't put him on the field. We might as well hold that spot for somebody else that can help us in the game, right? That's why he's still on IR. Now, while we're sitting here talking about Max Hairston technically on IR, but not actually injured, we got Will Johnson over in Arizona getting told from players on the other team, enjoy your vacation. You're on vacation today. You might as well take the day off. Who's telling Benford that? Who's telling anybody on our squad that? This rookie, I'll say it again, this rookie has already reached a point of respect in the league that we're not going to even throw your way. And Hairston can't even get on the field, and he's healthy. Meanwhile, at the same time as that, we're trusting Trey White. We're trusting, no disrespect, I'm sorry, I got to say it, Jamarcus Ingram. Cam Lewis is more nickel, so we won't see him outside unless we absolutely have to. We're trusting Dane Jackson from the practice squad. These are the guys that Sean is saying, because it's his defense, he's picking the ingredients. These are the guys that he's looking at and saying, when push comes to shove, I think these guys can get it done.
Yeah, I mean, Kynerson's not even playable. He's a healthy scratch. I had actually 2 comments here I want to get to. Lynn said the practice team should completely be developmental players, not Jordan Poyer, Gabe Davis. I think I said that before.
Yep.
I think I said that, and I stand by that 100%.
You got to give him the presidential.
Yeah. Now I stand on this. Bodega Cat said, I told y'all 2 weeks ago, tackling is horrible and now that national media season. I'll do you one better. I told you that 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I told you that 2 years ago.
Yep.
Anybody that watched this show, that was one of the first things I always harped on. Missed tackles.
Terrible.
They've always been bad at tackling. So this is nothing new. And I didn't even look at how we missed this because I looked at penalties. I said we had 8 offensive penalties. I don't even care about tackling because the defense didn't lose us this game. So I wasn't going to point out all their glaring missteps. Finn said, why is Cole Bishop leading our team in sacks? He's not. You're wrong. He's tied with Bosa. Anyway.
Wait. So the point on tackling, I heard this on the radio earlier. The idea of players getting into position late, right? That's part of it. We just showed everybody with the game film on the all 22 that these players are getting to the gaps and throwing shoulders and arms out, right? But here's the other half of that comes into play. That we kind of pointed it out, but they pointed it out on the radio. They kind of emphasized it for a good minute and a half, which is players reading the plays slower than what's necessary in order to get into position to give a form tackle, right? If you're late to the gap, you're not going to be in position to give a good form tackle, which means what? You're either going to look like you did when Steph Diggs caught the ball and sidestepped you and go flying across the screen, or you're going to look like Trey White and Bishop did, where you're just trying to throw your body into a guy that's not going to make any kind of difference because he's already got enough momentum to blow right past you. Yeah. So those 2 reasons. They don't have the dog attack, tough mental state to really stick their nose in there and shoot the gap and tackle like they're supposed to. And they're not reading their keys fast enough to get into position to give the proper fundamental form tackle. So that's really where the suffering is coming from. And I'm sorry, but that has a lot to do with coaching. Because if your players aren't reading it fast enough, something about what you're teaching them or something about your scheme is not allowing them to play fast.
Yeah. Bodega said the defense definitely lost the game. No, they didn't.
The defense actually played better than I expected.
Yeah, the defense did not lose this game. There's no way. There's no way you can even say that. But
I wouldn't say they would have won the game either. I mean, you got to keep in mind. So in the second half, the Patriots honed in on one personnel set and just destroyed the Bills the rest of the second half. They were making plays, they were scrambling to the right whenever they wanted. Diggs was getting whatever he wanted, and they kept running the same set. And as a defense, you have to be able to see that. Your coaches have to be able to see that, and you've got to be able to do something about that. I don't, even if it takes you putting 2 corners on Diggs and pressing him at the line, do whatever you got to do. It wasn't like they were only running 3 receivers most of the second half.
I'm really interested. Honestly, I'm more interested in why our zone is so bad this year versus what it was last year. Why is it that Christian Benford from last year, one of the most elite zone corners in the game, this year looks horrible? Like, and it's not. I can't get to the point where I say it's just him. Like, we just got fooled by him. It's just something that I don't understand. That's beyond my scope as to what changed in his defense to make it so. Is it because we have Rapp and Bishop? But Rapp was there last year. Is it because who was it? Rasul Douglas was being victimized last year, and they left Benford alone. I don't know, but I just struggle because they're focusing on him when Trey White is over here. Even that's crazy to me. So I don't understand what the difference is from 24 to 25, and I wish somebody could tell me, non-biased. Just give me a breakdown of what your thoughts are on that.
To be perfectly honest, I think a lot of it has to do with what they put on tape with this personnel, right? Because last year was the first year of Taylor Rapp, and it was basically your first year without Poyer, right? So you go into that year, teams still need to see what you put on tape. It was bad, but you still had a Rasul Douglas out there that pretty much knew what he was doing, and you had a Benford out there that pretty much knew what he was doing. I would say at that point in Rasul Douglas's career, he's probably a little more athletic than Trey White is, because Trey White just came off of an Achilles and
everything.
Pretty much everything. So when looking at what they put on tape last year, I think this year is just kind of we got you figured out. You know what I'm saying? We know your safeties can't cover anything. We know your corners are slow and can't cover in man. And here's the other thing. Like you said in last episode, they're not zone blitzing, they're man blitzing.
Right. So
when you put those slow corners on anybody and expect them to have the agility and the athleticism to keep up with a guy in man coverage, you're the types of blitzes that you're doing to begin with is smaller linebackers that have got to work pretty hard to shoot the gap, or a corner that's trying to get around a defensive lineman and an offensive lineman that are so much bigger than they are, and your defensive lineman is already not getting the kind of pressure you need in order to open things up for that blitzing corner. It's just they're not working because they're not equipped to work. You're doing stunts with players that are not quick enough to make it work.
True.
You're doing stunts and twists with defensive back with a defensive backfield that's not good enough in reading their keys to be able to cover what they need to cover in 3 seconds. So what does that do? Well, that gives Drake May an extra second, an extra 2, 3, 4 seconds. When they ran that when Drake May ran that when he scrambled to the right and threw that bomb to Diggs down the sideline to like the 10 or 15 yard line, whatever it was, they ran a stunt on that side. Right. And what ended up happening was the player that came around on the stunt, that defensive tackle, I think it was Daquan Jones, by the time he gets there, the tackle is in position to catch him anyway. So it's not like he was getting a rushing advantage there.
Right.
Drake May scrambled. Drake May was able to kind of get out of the way of that and get the ball downfield. Right. Then it happened again. They did it again at the end of the game when May got the ball to Diggs, and May was stiff arming Daquan Jones and getting the ball off to Diggs. Same stunt. But you got a run stuffing defensive tackle out here trying to run onto the end and go up against the tackle and beat him to the quarterback. Like, why would you? You do that with Ed Oliver. You don't do that with DaQuan Jones.
Right. Yeah.
You do that with TJ Sanders. You don't do that with DaQuan Jones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So again, it's how they're using these players. They think that because they teach things a certain way, that it doesn't matter who you are, what your skill set is, or as long as you are athletic and you can play football and you know football terminology, they can point and tell you what to do, and you should be able to go out there and execute it because they said so.
Yeah, that's a good point, because we are blitzing a whole lot more than we used to. I think yesterday we blitzed to the tune of about 32% of something like that, between 25 and 30% of the snaps yesterday. And I just thought it was odd because I think yesterday was the largest blitzing output since the Lamar game.
Yeah.
And I'm curious as to why it is that a team that's been so good at blanketing and accounting for the deficiencies of your defensive backs, your linebackers, and so on and so forth, leaves them on an island in these big situations. I thought you were putting the finger up. Oh, man.
Screw you, Keyshawn.
But no, the fact they got off the field 6 out of 9 third down plays, the fact that Greg Rousseau showed up yesterday in a big way.
Mm-hmm. Finally.
And you know what I noticed though? He played a lot of wide 9. He played a lot of 2
on
point.
the left side too.
Yeah.
On the side he's used to playing.
Yeah, I mean a lot of 2-point stance work. It's like, do that.
Yeah.
We see this on tape. We got to watch film. What are you watching? What are you going to correct based on the film you're watching? Because we saw Greg Rousseau get busy out there.
Yep.
He's been getting busy when you put him there. But, like I said, he's not going to get you a lot of sacks. He's got, 1.5 sacks this season, something like that, 2 sacks. 1.5 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to get you 10. We know that. Why should we why are we bothering to kill ourselves to wait for him to get 10 sacks? It's not going to happen.
Right.
The same way Benford is not going to get you, 5 interceptions. The same way Trey White isn't going to make a game-stopping tackle. The same way we know all these things about these players, and it's like we just keep hoping that it's going to change. I thought yesterday was, as Von Miller used to say, good medicine, because I think the Bills started to get too sure of themselves. Fans started getting too sure of themselves.
Oh yeah.
And yesterday was it was too cute. This whiteout nonsense, these jerseys, this. I mean, I'm not going to be the person that blames the jerseys for it, but that's why I say, man, let's just play some football. I don't care what they're wearing. I don't care. I saw on Instagram one time where the guy was making fun of the 37U team because they didn't have the same red shade of helmet. They had different colored face masks. He's like, what the hell is we looking? But they still playing football. And that's what I want to see them play football. So it's good for money. It's good for this, that, and third. But yesterday they just didn't have the pepper. I don't know what it was. They didn't have. They were just too lackluster, too overconfident. They didn't respect the quarterback that they were facing. They didn't respect Stephon Diggs and his revenge.
To be perfectly honest with you, bro, I think you're being very nice when you say that in terms of what it actually was. Well, you got to think about it like this. The Bills went against the 10th best run defense in the Saints last week, right? And Cook had a decent game, right? Defensively overall, the Saints are top half of the league right now, right? And they've gone against some good offenses, right? Now, what does that mean? Well, when the Bills played the Saints and played their defense, the Bills offense didn't look as good as it had against the Jets. It didn't look as good as it did against the Dolphins. Progressively, we've gone from playing the Ravens with the worst defense to playing the Jets who are bottom half of the league, probably bottom 5 in the league, to playing the Dolphins who are closer to the middle, to playing the Saints who are top half of the league, to playing the Patriots defense that is number 2 in run defense in the entire NFL. And we couldn't run the ball against them.
Mm-hmm.
Whoop-de-freaking do.
And that's why I said yesterday should have been a lot of play actions. Should have been a lot, because you knew they were going to key on James Cook. You knew that.
Yep.
You knew the middle of the field was going to be. We talked about it. We called out the linebackers can't cover. Somebody in the comments said it. So what was the game plan going into it? Is it talent? I think we had enough talent to win that game yesterday. I do think we had enough talent to win the game yesterday. The game plan was wrong. The scheme was wrong. The philosophy was wrong. And it was, the intensity was off, because like you saw, what you showed with the tackle, that's not intensity.
Not at all.
Well, I was watching something. Ray Lewis was talking to Roquan Smith, and he was talking about I do this, whatever the case may be, and that tells me I got the back end, you get to decide, and the front guys, you go hunt. Who says that? You go hunt. It's like tribal. It's
Right.
like this is how they think. War mentality. We don't have that.
Yep.
And that's the deficiency the Bills have. It's not the size, because small guys can hit just like big guys.
Yep.
Big guys can run just as fast as small guys. It's a mentality thing.
Yep.
That they're not coaching in this culture, and that's it. So this means mess. He's built the Carolina Panthers again.
No, he didn't even do that.
No, he didn't build them at all.
Right. He didn't build them at all. He was an assistant GM.
Yeah, he was like just in name, but
yep. I'll read this comment here. This team is not a disappointment. What makes it is not a disappointment. I think he means to say this team is a disappointment. What makes it disappointing is the expectations we have for a bunch of 3rd to 5th round talents to play like 1st round blue chips. Every Super Bowl QB has at least one Hall of Fame talent. I said that. I said that the last. If you go back 2 or 3 episodes, I did mention that. You got it. And I think this still holds true. 10 out of the last 11 Super Bowl winners have all been offensive-minded head coaches. But past that, every quarterback that has played in those games and won has had at least one number 1 type receiver, whether it was Travis Kelce or it was A.J. Brown or it was Cooper Kupp in the Super Bowl. You get what I'm saying? The Bengals made it to a Super Bowl with 2 number 1 receivers. They didn't win it, but again, you have to have something on your team that when everything goes wrong, this guy can make something out of nothing, and it cannot just be your quarterback. Your quarterback has to have somebody like that to throw to. Right? It's nice to have Cook. Cook is a nice story. Cook is balling. I love having Cook because Cook helps to keep the offense balanced, right? Which forces the defense to have to play honest. But as we saw last night, the Patriots yet again put out another blueprint for how to stop the Bills, and you best believe the Falcons are coming for that neck. They're going to do the same exact thing. The Falcons are more than capable of rushing the passer, the same as, if not better than what we saw this week.
I think they're better.
Right.
Yeah.
Those 2 young rookies are balling this season. And furthermore, I would contend that the Falcons have a better secondary than what the Patriots have. They for sure have better safeties in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And the corner, I would say, is equal to what we saw in Christian Gonzalez and A.J. Terrell. So what are we going to do? Attack the linebackers all the way down the field? We got to hope that's what they give us.
Yeah, I mean, the linebackers we had yesterday were probably 2 of the worst pass defending linebackers you're going to find.
Yeah.
They're good run stuffers. Spillane is a guy that you would love to have in Buffalo in the middle of the field, because you have that way you can figure out how to split out Bernard to the side, put him at a weak or something like that. Let him roll. Let him do what he does best with his speed, his natural ability to follow the ball. That's what Bernard is good at. But put him in the middle of the field at that size and feeding off of trying to break off and discard the blocks from the second level that the offensive line consistently gets to because the defensive line is penetrating. Mm-hmm. We need to figure out how to get him out of there, not off the field, but out of that position. Yeah. And that's kind of where my mind takes me to a dark place where I'm like, okay, we know we need to do this. We know we need to do that, but they're not going to. Like I said, Rousseau, finally, wide 9. You cut it in half, and everybody's talking about this guy sucks. No, he doesn't suck. He's not what you want, but he's not garbage.
He's also not being used properly.
That's what I'm going at. He's not being used.
Exactly.
And we know how to use him, but we need him for this scheme to do this. Right. Ed Oliver last 2 years, we need him for this scheme to do this.
Never mind 2 blockers.
Right. Never mind you're only 5'11", 6 feet, and you're 275 pounds. Never mind you're our highest paid defensive tackle. Never mind any of that stuff. Never mind you're a pass rusher.
Yeah.
We need you to take 2 blockers up.
Go off, bro.
Because we got this guy over here who's not going to get to the quarterback because he's too slow. We want him to do your job, and you get ridiculed, and then we'll draft 2 big behemoths. We'll trade up and get TJ Sanders to do what you are supposed to be doing. But when he can't do it, we bring in Fendarian, whatever the hell his last name is. Maybe he can do it. No, he can't do it either. Zion Lowe, we know you're a one tech. The only one tech we really have on this team. But no, you
giving up his back to guards.
Yes. You go ahead and give up. You give back up to the guards, and we'll stunt with you when you run a 6-0 flat 40. We'll stunt with what are we doing?
Yeah, bro, go off, man.
I joke a lot about TJ Sanders being, that. Oh, I'm not really joking, but I am kind of, because I know they're not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We had Lyndon Jackson play 8 snaps yesterday. Why? What was it that Javon Solomon did to bring Lyndon Jackson into the fold? Because Javon Solomon had 3 snaps. Hey, you got a rookie. Let's figure out what this rookie can do. Did you ever try him out wide? Try him in a 5 tech? Did you ever try him in even a 4 tech?
Why bother?
Because we brought him here to be a pass rusher.
That's right.
From the inside only. Never mind, having somebody that's semi-functional here because we got Bosa for 1 year. You're not re-signing him.
Yeah.
I mean, you got FNS over here who he's doing fine, I guess. But are we waiting for Hoyt? Are we waiting? What are we doing? Tinker with it if it's not working. We are getting no pressure.
Right.
I think Lynn said Cole Bishop is our leading sack artist. Cole Bishop from way the hell back there. He got to come from over there to go there. And that's our guy.
2 states away.
2 states away to make a play. He has 1 tackle for a loss. He's our 3rd leading tackler. And we got this offense. We got the defensive line pro. We got 2 guys we just drafted. One you already gave up on and took his jersey away.
Right.
Maybe try him somewhere else first. And what's going to hurt? What's it going to hurt? Get him out of the muck. We saw in college, TJ Sanders can't hold point against a run. We saw that. We saw it in the pros. He got the hand movement. He got the mentality to get to the quarterback. Put him on the edge, see what he can do. I didn't know what he ran. I got to look at what he ran at his 40 time. But
who's that?
TJ Sanders. But I mean, I know it's probably not no more than a 4.8, 4.9 or something like that. But even then, that's a run stuffer. Split him wide when it's a run down when Bosa's not supposed to be out there because Bosa can't defend the run. Put him out there. I mean, it's little things like that, little tinkering like that. Because if you really want to get freaky with it, you know what you could do? You could put him in the 5, let him rush a couple of times honest, and then put him next to Daquan Jones and stun him.
Mm-hmm.
Bring him right around that edge, right up the B gap. And guess what? It's him and the quarterback.
Yep.
These are the things that they don't think of, but it's so easy. I know I'm not a coach. And I don't want anybody to say you're an armchair GM. I don't care. Tell me where I'm wrong.
Exactly. Tell me and show me where I'm wrong. TJ Sanders ran a 4.95 at the combine, ran a 4.99 at his pro day.
Fine. What's AJ Epinesa run? A 5.04.
Jeez. But he looks faster. Looks much faster.
TJ Sanders is quick.
Yeah.
Why put him in the middle all the time if it's not working? Just take him off the field.
Right.
Well, I can see if we had this issue where Russo's got 5 sacks, Bosa's got 8 sacks. Oh man, what do? We can't take him off the field. We don't have that problem. Not even close. We got 2 and 2. Now Bosa has all these forced fumbles. Cool. That's beautiful. But we got to get the quarterback. Drake May is running. Drake May is stiff arming Daquan Jones. All he had to do was hurdle somebody. Yeah. That's all he had to do. He came into Buffalo and played our quarterback's role in a movie. Maybe he was in a Hallmark movie. Did he audition for it? Because I mean, it's just maddening. I'm not even mad. You know, you ever played? I don't know on Madden if you can do it, but in college,
okay,
on the game after every season, you can change position. Like it's actually, I mean, you always can do it, but in college, you actually can change the position. It's a screen, where it says, okay, now this is the next step. It's not me just going into tinkering with stuff, and it says, okay, they're better here. They're a left guard, but they're going to be better at right tackle or something like that. And I can just change it out.
Now you would have to edit the player in the NFL.
Yeah. See, no, in college, it tells you, like, I'll click on player A, and it'll give me a list of all the positions. It'll say, okay, he's a 71 at left guard, but at right tackle, he's an 83. It'll just run it down. And then from there, you say, okay, let me change it. If you see TJ Sanders, if you see player A, player B, they're probably better here. Try it in practice.
Yep.
You destroyed my man's confidence. He's a number 2 overall. You traded up to get me. I played 4 games. I didn't do anything, and you yoked me?
Mm-hmm. And now you got Fedarian and Zion Logue out there on key, run stopping downs. I mean, granted, I don't want to have to count on TJ Sanders for that, but at the same time, if you're willing to give TJ Sanders the hook, then you should do what you said in the press conference and have an honest discussion with Trey White and try and get that figured out.
Yeah, aren't we always having honest discussions?
No, the only other time that we heard him say honest discussions was in training camp.
Yeah, with Keon Coleman and Kincaid. We have a hard, honest
Bishop.
Truth. Bishop. We have an honest discussion. And come on now.
Yeah.
Let's see Jerry Hughes. Bring him back.
Where is it?
Somebody said, "F it." Let's see Jerry Hughes.
Right. All right. So Daniel had a question. Said, in your opinion, is something up with Ray Davis? Could it be a result of losing weight this offseason? I'm not sure if he had a run for more than 3 yards so far. I'll let you take that one.
I think they're trying to make him run more zone. They're trying to make him run more what Cook does, because you got your franchise guy. They pretty much practice to do what the franchise guy does best, which is zone run. And Ray Davis is out there trying to find gaps and holes that he can't get to. He sees it, but he's not fleet-of-footed. He's not fleet-of-foot enough to get to that hole. The weight loss, Ray Davis was never a big dude. We saw Ramondre Stevenson. We see the guy last week, Kendre Miller. These guys are like 230, 240 pounds, and they bum, they run you over. But what we haven't seen out of Ray Davis, actually, outside of the Jets game last year, was really anything to really write home about. That game was the one everybody, oh, did you see that game? That's why he's better than Cook. Is he? What did he do after that? I mean, he was a spot dude. He's like Gabe Davis back when Gabe Davis played with Emmanuel Sanders or John Brown, whatever. When he rotated in with them, he's best when he rotates as sparingly as possible.
Yeah. Lynn says, bring Poyer and Davis up. They will fix everything. I'll let you take that one.
Davis.
Gabe Davis.
Oh, Gabe Davis?
Yeah. That's why I let you take that one, bro. I can't. I might hurt Lynn if I say what I'm going to say.
Lynn be like, what you say that, boy? No,
there's no way that anybody could love Gabe Davis that much to think that he's going to come in here and solve all these problems that we have with getting open on offense.
Yeah, Gabe Davis was one of the worst separators there's out there.
Ever.
But to be frank with you, Poyer wouldn't be an issue if we didn't have five in the box safeties as it stands. The answer really is Jordan Hancock. Where is he? What are we doing with that guy? I mean, that's the issue. Yep. Is he not picking a playbook up as well? I mean, come on now. It's getting egregious. Your young guys can't play, not because they suck, but because you don't want to. You're protecting something. And for me, the young guys playing, that culture movement would get you grace, because we would say, okay, Cole Bishop, he's not great, but we see an improvement. We see where he's getting comfortable. We see Deion Walker getting better. We see these things. We see, even Christian Benford when he was coming of age. We've seen these guys get better.
Yeah.
But for some reason they keep bringing these old heads in, and we have our guys sitting on the back burner just waiting. When's my turn? They're in the studio, but they're never on the stage.
Yep. That's exactly what Steve is saying here. He says the fact that every year when all of Beans and McDermott's misses are exposed, we have to duct tape it with some Amari Cooper trade and hope that crap can put us over the hump. Don't fall for this. That's the point. And when we're looking at this roster as it's currently constructed, and we have much younger players, but we're getting nostalgic and we're saying, oh, Gabe Davis and Jordan Poyer can come in and solve the issues, when the Jaguars, he was their number 2 receiver and they just dropped him. They didn't even try to work anything out to make him a number 3 receiver. They didn't put him in some sort of camp to help him. They just said, bro, from what we've seen, you suck. You got to go. They hit the flush button on him so fast, it took 1 season for him to get flushed out of Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. And what do? Come on back, buddy. Come on back. Hey, just in case, we might need a little something from you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I'm saying? We might need you to run a route or something like that in the AFC Championship. You never know.
Yeah, man, trying to sock out his quarterback. I mean, you had enough.
That's part of it.
He's out there trying to put hands on his quarterback.
You
They got
know,
to hold him back. Yeah, that's tough.
Right.
Now, just Ray Davis weight loss. Where is he at now? Where I don't know.
let's find
I know
out.
he was like 216 or something like that. That's what that PFF has it listed as 216. He was 220 last year. Where are we seeing a big weight loss? I'm not sure what he cut. If anybody can put that in the chat, how much did he lose that you've heard?
Well, I guess the word is they asked him to get a little bit lighter.
So I mean, I see 4 pounds.
Yeah,
but that's not gonna account for the drastic change in his play from last year to this year. I don't think 4 pounds.
I think what they determined is they just want him to be a little quicker, not necessarily as light as Cook is,
right?
But they wanted him to be a little bit quicker, which he would need if he was going to be running more zone scheme stuff anyway, right? Because he's gonna need to have a little bit more quickness in his feet. He's gonna need to have a little bit more wiggle in his game, so to speak, to run his own play. But I mean, truth be told, with Davis right now, it really just comes down to vision. His vision is not there yet, right? Because you can be as slow as Frank Gore Jr., but have the vision of Frank Gore Sr. and be fine.
Yeah, I mean, Frank Gore Jr. showed a little something. I mean, I know it's against the second and third, but he's a second and third. It was there, and now Tommy's he's in timeout. He said bring back Motor. No.
Oh no.
I want the other guy. That's who I want. I'm never gonna not say that. I want the other guy.
Right.
Number 44. Give me that dude.
Oh, here's a good point. Joe says McD playbook can't be too hard. Other teams figure it out in a week of prep, but our own players can't in months. All excuses to play familiarity instead of young players. So I reported this before. The playbook. Well, I didn't break the news, but I mentioned this on the show before, I guess is the way I should say it. The reason that Sean McDermott was fired from Philly was all the complaints from players about his rigidity and the playbook being too hard. Okay. That's documented. You can either go back and read that from publications in Philly, or you can read the Tyler Dunn report, a Sean McDermott problem, and get the information from there. Now, with that being said, I think we've seen enough of Sean McDermott to know he doesn't change. All he does is reinforce his own beliefs year after year after year. So what does that mean? That means that all the rigidity and all of the complication in his defense that he had in Philly, he pretty much still has. When you look at players like Maxwell Hairston, who I broke this news, has not been able to get the playbook down even to this point in the season. He does not have it down. That's why he hasn't been activated off of IR. That's why it's so imperative for Sean to have these veteran players that he doesn't have to teach as much, because they already have a strong enough foundation where they can come and learn the playbook well enough and fast enough to be able to contribute in this defense. Now, the issue here is the biggest issue, I should say, because there's plenty. The biggest issue is when you have a complicated playbook, you're robbing your players of being able to play fast. And for a defense that already has a level of athleticism that is average at best in the NFL in terms of speed, agility, all that kind of stuff, being able to move in space, when they're average at best already, and you slow them down with having to think through your complicated playbook, they're playing that much slower.
I liken this to what everybody says Mike McDaniel does for Tua. So it seems as though honestly, I don't know how complicated a playbook even get. It's just, the position. Is he wanting them to learn multiple different positions? I think he does on offense, but defensively, I don't know. But yeah, I think for me, to your point, that's why McDermott gets the older players, because they've seen a lot of stuff. And also, McDermott doesn't want to get rid of the playbook. And if he has to get rid of that playbook, or if he does get rid of the playbook, that allows you to get better players.
Yes.
See, he's getting these mediocre players that are cerebral. Everybody's got to be smart. Everybody's got to be on their P's and Q's, this, that, and third. But you can get with C.J. Johnson, Garner Johnson over there.
Mm-hmm.
That dude ain't learning no complicated paper, but he can play.
Right.
No, and that, see, like you said, to your point about that run, flying to the ball. How you supposed to fly to the ball when I don't know where my cue is? What is his cue? What's my cue? What's Ray Lewis going to do in his defense? Is Ray Lewis going to take this? What's his name? Luke Kuechly? How much did he run this? You know, I mean, obviously they ran this defense, but he was the general on the field.
Yep.
You know, he said, "Okay, I want you to do this. I want you to do this. And this is what we need to do."
Yep.
He can change his calls up, and Bernard just ain't doing that.
Right.
No, Bernard is running pretty much what they call, and that's that. There's no adjustments. There's no tapping. There's no cues. It's just go out there and let's do what the playbook says. We're robots. This is a recipe we're building here.
Yep.
Scott?
My guy, Scott. Whole bunch of explosions, all that for you, brother. Thank you so much for the super chat here. It says they got to utilize James Cook a little more, especially in the screen game. Same with Ty Johnson. He's a good person in the screen game too. Yeah, so that was a pretty decent amount of talk on the radio today too. Is why these running backs are not being used in the way that they were last year, where you're throwing passes to them downfield. As far as as far as the screen game goes, I do find it very curious, very intriguing, very weird. All three of those. That the Buffalo Bills have one of the most athletic offensive lines, yet run the least amount of offensive line screens in the NFL. You go look it up.
That was a calling card for Mitch Morse. That was a calling card for, whoever else they had next to Mitch Morse was that they were athletic. And that was one thing that we praised them for, their pulling ability.
Yep.
Their speed out in the flats, their speed out in open. They were cerebral. But instead, you go ahead and get Connor McGovern and you say, do away with that. Let's run these zones. And I stand corrected. I just looked it up while you were talking. Ray Davis actually was a zone running back in college. I don't know what happened to him. I have no idea what happened to him. I don't know.
I mean, look, I think let's get to this comment. Steve says, when the talent in the game is not in McDermott's favor, what does he reach for in scheme and preparation to counter that? What does he do when it's up to his talent to overcome asking for a friend? When it comes to that, it basically comes down to Josh, you got to take over. Because I think that's another aspect of what we saw in the game yesterday was when the schemes, when the X's and O's weren't working, he didn't have enough Jimmys and Joes to still get the job done. And this is something that I'm starting to say more and more and more and more and more, but this is going to reign true over everything that we see the Bills do this season, even if they win a Super Bowl. It's about the Jimmys and the Joes, not the X's and the O's in the NFL. I have no doubt in my mind that if you flip on ESPN or FS1 or any of these other stations that have these analysts that have played in the NFL or have covered the NFL for years and talked to numerous amounts of coaches and players, they all have said it at some point in their careers on TV. It's about the Jimmys and Joes in the NFL, not the X's and the O's. Mm-hmm. The X's and the O's matter, but they are not the primary thing that dictates success in the NFL. How can I say that? Well, you look at you know what? Let's look at the Eagles this year.
Okay.
Let's look at the Eagles this year. The Eagles this year, they are dealing with a coordinator that's never called plays before.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the Bills went through something similar with Ken Dorsey, right? And the difference is Ken Dorsey came in and just kind of tucked Daboll's playbook and ran with that for 2 years. So with Dorsey, it was, hey, this is pretty smooth. It's cool. It wasn't until they switched up the offense to what Dorsey did in college and what Dorsey was familiar with that we started to see that his route concepts and combinations, the design of his plays really weren't great at all, right? It still worked. We still won games. Why? Because we had players that can overcome the X's and the O's not working. We had the Jimmies and the Joes to make it work. Same thing is going on in Philly this year. They won 4 games. They were 4-0 in games that they played terribly. Why? Because the X's and O's weren't good enough to get it done on its own. They needed the Jimmies and the Joes. They needed the Saquon Barkleys, even though the players are not putting up the same numbers that they put up before. They were still good enough to play well in key moments and make key plays to win those games and go 4-0. It finally caught up and bit them when they went up against an elite defense in the Broncos, though. Right? So I'm saying all that to say, when the play breaks down, when the X's and O's break down, you still got to have your A.J. Browns, your Justin Jeffersons, your Drake Londons, your Jamar Chases and T. Higgins. You still need some of these guys to make a play and get themselves open like Steph Diggs was doing last night.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line of this whole entire conversation about what happened in that game last night. It's exactly the topic of the title of this episode. Everybody eats versus that man from last night who happened to be him. That's what it really comes down to. When you want to have this conversation about how good is everybody eats, last night, that's the essence of everybody eats. You had a tight end that was destroying their defense. And instead of having the wherewithal to say, let's keep feeding this guy. Nope. We got to trust the process. Everybody's got to eat. Even if it's just scraps, even if it's just a small corner of a piece of bacon here and there.
Go on, get yourself a plate, baby.
Go home, get yourself a plate and put that little corner of bacon on there, and you go ahead and feed yourself.
Go ahead, baby. Help yourself.
Right? So this is the madness contained in the mindset and the scheme and the draft picks and the culture of this team. That's the madness contained in it. All of it contradicts itself. All of it. Pass rushing defensive tackles and run stuffing defensive ends. Supreme contradiction. Part of the reason you have such an issue with Joe, it just hit me today. Part of the reason you have such an issue with Joey Bosa is people laud him for being this great pass rusher, but none of the traditional behavior of elite pass rushers exists within him. He doesn't have great speed. He doesn't have great bend. He doesn't have elite hand work. It really just comes down to he's probably bigger than most tackles he's going to come across and faster than most tackles he's going to come across. But none of that is elite enough to win with the type of consistency that a TJ Watt wins with. TJ Watt is much faster than a Bosa.
Yeah.
Right? So you combine the speed of a TJ Watt with most of the strength that a Joey Bosa has in him, and you have TJ Watt. You have a dominant force. You have a Nick Bosa.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's why those guys can be talked about as elite pass rushers. Right? Bosa, I think, coming into the league, even though he played in a 4-3, everything that he was doing in college was mostly because he was just bigger and stronger than everybody he went against, right. and maybe a little more athletic than the competition. Right. But to say that, he's that dude, I get it. And I think I still stand by my standpoint of, well, he's making the most impact on the team,
sure.
But I think I stand with you from the standpoint of he's not an actual pass rusher. I didn't even really think of him as a pass rusher. I thought of him more as a playmaker at defensive end. Mm-hmm. And I think it's safe to say that about him, even at this stage of his career.
Yeah.
But that is a microcosm of the mindset that you have of this team. And frankly, the point that I'm trying to get across now too, which is you can't look at a guy like Greg Rousseau or Bosa or Christian Benford or Josh Palmer and think of these guys as solutions to the problem. Why? Because Josh Palmer is supposed to be this great route runner. Well, if he's not that fast, then how is he going to separate well enough on those routes? Like, Keon Coleman can't get separation because we know he's slow, right? We don't sit here and talk about how, we're so glad we drafted Keon Coleman because he's a separator and he runs great routes. No, we talked about Keon Coleman as he's a big physical receiver that can go up over the top. Josh is going to have a ball throwing 50-50 balls to him. Mm-hmm. How'd that look last night?
That's good. I got a stat for you with Josh Palmer in terms of his separation before he came to Buffalo. You ready?
Let's go.
You're 71st in average yards of separation with 2.6. This is his last year in LA. Keon Coleman last year was 2.7. He was 64th in separation, 0 to 10 yards, 3.1 yards. Keon Coleman was, I think he was 3.3. He was 74th in separation, 10 to 19 yards, 2.2, which means the further downfield he gets, that speed shows up, boy. Yep. And I started about this while you were talking. I had a thought, and I said, wait a minute, didn't Damar Hamlin play safety for the Bills last year?
Yeah,
they made him a starter, right?
Yeah, they did. Okay.
So who did we draft last year to put him at safety?
Cole Bishop?
No, the other guy. Last draft.
Oh, Jordan
Hancock.
Yep.
Did you know that Damar Hamlin was a slot corner in college? Wasn't a safety.
I did know that.
Okay. So are we trying to recreate the wheel here? The wheel that didn't work? How about just go get a real safety? You saw the transition. I didn't realize he was that much. I mean, he didn't even play safety at all really in college, but he was a slot safety. So we gonna move Jordan Hancock.
You're on the wrong track. You on the We like guys that can do multiple things.
Evidently, but he didn't say well. That's his caveat. Right. He didn't say well.
That's a good point.
So I'm sitting here thinking about, like I mentioned, what T.J. Sanders. I mentioned about why is it that the guys that actually might get a chance to do what they do, you leave them where they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
But the guys that can't do everything, you put them everywhere. It makes zero sense. It makes zero sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, hey, whatever. It is what it is. We'll just draft and then replace him at the trade deadline again. So whatever we get next year, we'll replace him at the trade deadline.
Right. And this trade deadline, whatever we get, is going to be gone at the end of the season. Why? Because they think they're going to be able to sign or draft it in the offseason. Yeah. Same thing keeps going over and over and over again.
Rinse and repeat. He doesn't want to be here. What about the culture?
Right. Why would he forsake our culture? Why retire, Cooper? Why retire?
Oh, God. Why?
Cato says, it's a dude at my job, strong McJoking team supporter. We didn't even talk today. You know why? Because dude ain't want to hear I told you so. That's the so again, going back to my statement about how much the fans actually know. And when I say the fans, I don't mean people that watch this show, right? Because we all criticize and we analyze and we for the most part know what's going on with the team, yep, on a game-to-game basis. But when you hear some of these people that are tailgaters, that go to the games and all that kind of stuff, and they get on talking about, we didn't use the tight ends that much. Our best receiver in the game was a tight end, you dope. Right. Well, how come we don't give the ball to James Cook in the red zone and let him get some goal line carries? He's got like 2 or 3 already.
Right.
Touchdowns, all of them. Mm-hmm. Right. So what's my point in bringing this back up? My point in all this is these are the people who are the strong McJoke supporters and team supporters and love what's going on. Why? Because they don't actually know what's really going on. What they see is the W's that go up, on a week-to-week basis, and they see the score of 30 points, and we beat them by, by a double-digit margin. And they assume, hey, Josh Allen winning by a double-digit margin, got the win, winning the division 5 years in a row. We're an elite team. We're great.
Right.
This team is awesome.
Right.
Never mind any of the stuff that's going on internally. Never mind any of the things that ever go wrong. These people, these fans never hear about it.
Right.
They never hear about it. Why? Because that's not something that's pushed on local media. Local media is not allowed to talk about that. Why? Because if they do, they will lose access to the team.
Mm-hmm.
That's the heart of this whole entire situation. That's one of the things that I've been trying to get through to fans from the very beginning of this show is we are not here with the Bills voluntarily.
Right.
Everything that the Bills have been doing is all programming, and it is all for their benefit, and it is all designed to bring them what they want, which is money at this point for Terry Pagula.
Mm-hmm.
He is not in the business right now of bringing us a Super Bowl. He's not. If he was, then he would have had a mind to make some changes 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Not let this go on for 9 years and just keep trying, kicking at the door.
Yeah, John, I appreciate you. You said, love the show. I'm still pissed. I hope we didn't piss you off more, but no, honestly, I mean, it's like I told you guys on Friday. A lot of this stuff is what I said. I said Cook is going to get the day off. I said this is going to be the game Josh Allen wins for us. I said this is going to be the game you play Stephon Diggs if you have him. This is going to be the game that you have Dawson Knox. You put Dalton Kincaid. You put him out there. Those are the premonitions I had, because I said, you know what, Cook's gonna have a day where he can't get off.
Yep.
And that's what happened. Was it his fault? I mean, we saw trip, stumble, fumble. It happens. It is what it is. But that was a game that the middle of the field was open for the taking. Some people went as far as to say that Josh had sugar high moments. Okay. I mean, but like I said, I wouldn't be fair if I didn't say that Josh can't have an off day. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It just sucks that it happened against the Patriots, against the guy that we let go because we wanted a better offense. That's the only thing that sucks. Right. It hurts.
Don't give it up to that guy.
Right. Just not him.
Anybody but that guy.
That extra hug with McDermott, he said, I'm going to kick your ass, right?
Right.
We were like, ha, ha, ha.
Yep. And after the game, how did that feel?
How did it taste?
That's right. Tell me how my taste.
Right. I was gonna say Shaq and Kobe. But yeah, no, I know we got to get out of here. So we will talk about this and wrap it up with everybody just taking a sip. Raise your invisible cups. And if you have water,
I got water.
Take a swig. Hold on, I'm gonna take a swig of mine. Ha ha. Refreshing. All right. What do we have? We don't have Reed's tea, but you should get some. You still have a shot. Yep. Reed's tea is 1 part refreshing, 1 part delicious. It's 2 parts healthy. What do I know? Let me tell you, that's a good drink there.
Oh, yeah.
But why would you order a case when you can head to the stores, right? You can get it in stores now.
Delta Sonic.
There you go.
Every last one of them bad boys. We in Delta Sonic. Listen, it is $3.99 at your local Delta Sonic. If you are in the city, in the areas, or Orchard Park, wherever you may be, if you want to get some tea, go ahead and go right over there. They got the little end cap, like in the middle section. Go right up there, grab you 4 or 5 bottles if you want. I promise you, I will have one on Friday. I promise you, I will have one on Friday to sip after the show.
I mean, what better than after our tea, get some Reed's tea?
That's it.
Head on over to Delta Sonic if you can. You won't be disappointed. But what do I know? See for yourself. It's there. They have cases. Well, they have bottles right now, but the cases will be coming. Right, Damaris? Anyway, click the link in the description below and let them know that PPP is not too small to send you guys their way.
That's right. That's was out of my voice by now, and you guys can hear what I'm saying. So, with that being said, we've given you probably the biggest news of the day, which is Reed's tea is in Delta Sonic stores. We're going to be in several other locations and several other stores coming soon. I promise you, this tea is booming right now. Get in where you fit in and get that taste. That tailgate tea is on the label. It's the tailgate tea of the mafia. You got to get you some. All right. If you do this. Matter of fact, if you get some tailgate tea, you know what? That's what we're gonna do right now. Get you some tailgate tea. Take a photo of you with the tailgate tea, and I will select from those random photos of people who got the tailgate tea and took a photo and sent it to us on any of our social media. I got a signed Taron Johnson jersey for you. I will send it your way. But in order to get that jersey, you got to take a photo of you with the Reed's tea. You got to be drinking it. You got to be drinking it.
I need to see you get a swallow.
Right. Don't give me none of this. Put it back on the shelf. No, we ain't
you
doing
cannot
that.
Be in Delta Sonic. Aha, I got you.
Yeah, right. They open up, take a sip, and put it right back on.
Oh,
I
can't do that, man. It's warm. Don't do that to me.
Right. All right. So listen. Other than that, we got a bunch of new content Well, I don't want to say a bunch, but we got one new show that we came out with, Post Podium Conversations. We've been doing that on Tuesdays at, I think we go at 7.
You do 7.
Yeah. So Tuesdays at 7, we do Post Podium Conversations. That is our, we're going to take a look at these press conferences. We're going to try to decipher whatever we can and try to continue to get to the truth. Same pursuit as when we're on this show. Thursdays, we do Coach D's Corner. That's our film review for the upcoming game. So if you want to get an in-depth look at some of the things that the opponent we're going to play does, some of the things that the Bills need to, get better at in order to be prepared for the upcoming game, you want to check that out. Buffalo Bills alum Damaris Johnson is on that show with me. He's been gracious enough to do the show with me again this season. So we're going to make sure that we make that show as great as it can possibly be for you guys. So bring your questions, bring your comments, bring your curiosities, everything you want to know, you'll be able to find out in that show when it comes to film study and what's actually going on the field. Okay. Other than that, we will be back live on the Post Podium Podcast with you guys Friday at 5:30. All right. Well, that's us. So
that's all, folks.
That's right. This has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the All Truth, No Sodium takes. I have been your co-host, Aramis.
40 keys. All right, y'all.
All right. Y'all have a great night. Peace.